Chapter 141, Don't Scare My Girlfriend Away. Yi Hui quickly took Gu Yingying's arm and said as they walked, "This is not the time to discuss these matters, let's hurry over there. I still have to busy myself with receiving my sister-in-law's relatives, so if there are any questions, we can ask them tonight when we have some free time." Gu Yingying felt the warmth from Yi Hui's hand, and suddenly felt a strange feeling in her heart, but it was captured by her sensitive heart. She felt that she was attracted to Yi Hui and Yi Hui's family. However, it was just a little bit of a good impression. Everyone gathered together, and Yi Chen also waited for his brothers to go to his father-in-law's restaurant together. Yi Chen's wedding was relatively traditional, and it was not like other rich people who held big banquets in 7-star hotels. On the one hand, it was a bit more personal, and on the other hand, it could also help his father-in-law promote the newly opened restaurant, which was also considered free advertising for his father-in-law, and could make the restaurant well known in Xiangqing. At the same time, it also satisfied his father-in-law's hope of holding a banquet for his daughter in his own restaurant. After all, he only had one precious daughter, and Lu Yana did not object, so this method achieved 3 goals at once. Although the banquet was held in a restaurant, the scale was quite large, and Yi Chen made arrangements at the wedding company according to the highest price. Lu's father had originally wanted to do it in a restaurant, but had switched to a restaurant. Even if it wasn't a hotel, it still looked like a restaurant. The first floor was the kitchen and the dining hall, the second floor was the lobby, and the third floor was the private rooms. The entire restaurant was over 3,000 square meters, and in this building, he only had to pay a rent of about 200,000 yuan. To him, this was a great bargain. The entire restaurant of Lao Fukki was decorated by the wedding company to look very festive. The upstairs and downstairs were arranged very well, which saved a lot of preparation for the restaurant's opening. The property manager of the building also knew very well that other external cars could only be parked in the indoor parking lot on the first floor, and the parking lot outside was reserved for the cars of Yi Chen's relatives. If it was full, there were also 2 underground parking lots inside. Yi Chen's banquet was also set up with 100 tables, and there was a constant stream of cars coming to the building, all of them with congratulatory gifts for the banquet. After Yi Hui picked up Lu Yana's relatives who had come from Yun City to attend the wedding, they also went to the entrance of the building to greet the guests with Yi Chen, Lu Yana, and Gu Yingying, the maid of honor. Yi's parents, as well as Yi Chen's aunt and uncle, were also at the door to welcome the guests. Sometimes they had to help the guests find their seats. However, Yi Hui's mother looked at Gu Yingying standing nearby and became more and more satisfied. Birds of a feather flock together, and only people with the same upright values can get along. Since Gu Yingying could become good friends with Lu Yana, she naturally must be as good as Lu Yana. She has met the daughter-in-law of her brother's family many times, and she has also heard her mother-in-law Yi talk about how good Lu Yana is. So if Gu Yingying is not as good as Lu Yana, she would be very satisfied if she is just as good as Lu Yana in terms of character. After all, nowadays, whether it is a man or a woman, if they have good character and outlook on life, then they are not bad people. Mother Yi Hui also doesn't consider the family background, and even if the person is a bit lazy, they can hire an auntie. So, not only Yi Hui's mother, but Yi Hui's father, under the influence of Yi Hui's mother, also looked at Gu Yingying with shining eyes. Gu Yingying looked at Yi Hui's parents, who were smiling at her, and she was also panicking inside, afraid that she could no longer pretend in front of so many relatives and friends. Yi Hui looked at the situation and quickly pulled Gu Yingying to his other side, using his body to block the crazy eyes of his parents. Yi Hui pulled his parents aside and whispered, "Mom and Dad, what are you doing? If my girlfriend is scared off by you, I'll blame you." Yi Hui's parents then calmed down. Okay, we'll pretend we don't know. You have to bring her home then, and Mom and Dad are very happy with her." Yi Hui's parents were also smiling happily. It seemed that they were 100% satisfied with Gu Yingying. Yi Hui also leaned over to Gu Yingying's side and whispered, "Say hello to my parents and mine later. It's not good to pretend we don't know each other when everyone is so open about it." As he spoke, Yi Hui waved his phone in the air, indicating for Gu Yingying to look at it. Gu Yingying took out her phone and saw that the money had arrived on WeChat. Seeing the amount of 5,200 yuan displayed on her phone, Gu Yingying looked at Yi Hui in great surprise. Good for him. 10 days' salary in one go. Gu Yingying said with a smile, "That's fine." Then she stepped past Yi Hui, pushed him to one side, and leaned over to Yi's mother's side and said, "Auntie, are you and uncle tired? If so, go inside and rest for a while. There are fewer people now, and I guess the guests are almost here." Yi Hui's parents were taken aback by Gu Yingying's initiative, and immediately replied, Yes, I'll go in a bit, I'm not tired yet." It's a joke. With the future daughter-in-law waiting with you, she wouldn't want to go home and sit around. Even if she is a little tired, she is happy. There were a constant stream of guests at the door, and the inside was full of friends in the seats. Everyone was enthusiastically discussing things. The relatives of the two families were having the most heated discussions. "Oh, I heard that Yi Chen, the Yi family's boy, has already given birth, right? Yes, didn't you know? It's been a few months since the baby was born. Yes, today is the 100th day celebration. I heard there were triplets. Triplets? The triplets in Fragrant City are Yi Chen's? You really are ignorant. It's Yi Chen's. The bride is a college classmate of Yi Chen's, and I heard they got pregnant after not being together for long. Isn't it normal for men and women to fall in love and live together these days? Right, it's abnormal if you don't get pregnant. If the woman is infertile, that's the end of it. Cut it out, isn't it the man's problem if you can't get pregnant? Why do you have to say that the woman can't have children? It's common for women to have children nowadays, so naturally there are plenty of women who can't have children. It's not really like that. Even if you can't have children, it's still 50-50 between the sexes. After all, nowadays men don't like to exercise, and many of them are infertile. As we talked, the discussion went off in a different direction. More and more people came in, and many were friends of Yi Chen's parents who were in business. Yi Chen's parents had many friends, and although they weren't considered to be big shots in Fragrant City, many people knew them. Chapter 142 Wedding Scene. And someone even asked Lu Yina's relatives on her mother's side, "Hey, do you know of any good women like the bride? My brat graduated from college this year, and I haven't seen him bring a girlfriend home. He must have a girlfriend outside that he hasn't brought home. He's graduated from university, so it's impossible that he hasn't been in a relationship. I've asked him, and he said no, and that if there's someone suitable, he's willing to go on a blind date. So, I'm really counting on you all. After this is successful, I won't forget to give you a big red envelope as a matchmaker's fee." After this was said, the other aunts also joined in the matchmaker's fee. "I'll give 10,000 yuan. If I succeed in finding a match for my son, I'll give 20,000 yuan. I'll give 30,000. 40,000. 50,000. The price is really getting higher and higher. I think there's someone here who's divorced and has a child. Do you want to be introduced?" At this time, the people in the crowd suddenly paused, and no one spoke again. "My son has also just divorced, but he doesn't have a child. If the woman has given birth before, it proves that she can give birth. It's just that if she has a girl, then it's something to consider. After all, this society is still very realistic, not everyone likes to be a father by surprise." The wedding scene was also bustling with people, full of joy and excitement. When all the guests had arrived, Yi Chen's parents, Yi Hui's parents, and Yi Hui and Gu Yingying returned to the chairman's seat to waiting for Lu Yana to touch up her makeup in a private room on the third floor. In the private room, there were also the bodyguards from the Protect security company called by Yi Chen, guarding the safe. After Lu Yana had put away the 10+ kilogram gold bracelet, she put on the entire series of "You Are My Only One" to wear with the wedding dress. Her entire temperament became even more noble from being graceful and luxurious. Yi Chen put the gold bracelet on Lu Yana himself, and stood in front of the full-length mirror, gently embracing her from behind. "Wife, you really are beautiful today." Lu Yana smiled and said, "Don't I usually look beautiful?" Yi Chen quickly replied, "Yes, you are. But today you are especially beautiful, more beautiful than any other time in the past." Lu Yana smiled happily and blissfully, but tears were sparkling in her eyes. At this moment, Yi Chen's phone rang. It was Ye's mother downstairs. "Yi Chen, are you ready?" The MC said, "You can come down now, hurry up, or you'll miss the happy hour." Yi Chen said, "Mom, don't worry, I'm coming down now, you guys get ready." Saying that, he helped Lu Yana put on her veil. When he opened the door, the makeup artist, bridesmaids and bodyguards were waiting. They quickly went forward to help Lu Yana arrange the wedding dress, rearranging the veil and the train of the wedding dress. "Yi Chen, you go down first." Yi Chen nodded, "Then you be careful." Yi Chen said and left. Gu Yingying also tightly shook Lu Yina's hand. "Nana, you have to take good care of me later. I want the bouquet in your hand." Lu Yana also smiled. She could also tell that Gu Yingying was also very envious of her, and she laughed and said, "I will give you the bouquet directly, so you have to catch it." The other bridesmaids also said, "Don't worry, we won't try to steal it from you." Gu Yingying was also a little moved. It wasn't that she was anxious to get married or anything, but because she had been in university for a few years and had never been in a relationship, not only was she anxious, but her parents were anxious for her as well. So after letting her out to fend for herself, they also gave her one condition, which was to find a boyfriend, then she could go home and lie down and return to her old life. Otherwise, she would just have to keep doing a job she didn't even like, just like she was doing now. At this time, the wedding scene. Yi Chen and Lu Yina's wedding has already begun, and the wedding march is playing. Yi Chen and a few of his brothers stood on the stage, while there was a small pavilion at the entrance of the lobby. The staff of the wedding company told Lu Yana to stand there, while her sisters behind her helped her hold the train of her long wedding dress. Behind the bridesmaids, 3 sisters pushed 3 small flower carts. In the carts lay Yi Chen's 3 little babies, and 3 aunts followed along the way, ready at any time. It was clear that Yi Chen and Lu Yina's 3 children were here to be flower children. At this time, Lu's father walked out, took Lu Yina's hand and slowly led her to the stage and to Yi Chen. Under the enthusiastic guidance of the MC, Lu's father placed Lu Yina's hand firmly in Yi Chen's hand. Yi Chen, I entrust you with my beloved daughter. I hope you won't let Nana down. Yi Chen also nodded solemnly. Dad, don't worry, I definitely won't. At this time, Yi Chen took Lu Yina's hand and faced the lobby with more than 1,000 people. After the MC had said so many words of blessing to everyone, it was time for the wedding to enter its enthusiastic phase. Next, it was time for the bride and groom to take their vows. The MC said to the bride, Lu Yina, Miss Lu Yina, do you take Mr. Yi Chen to be your lawful wedded husband? In sickness and in health, for better or for worse, to love, to care for, to respect, to accept, and to be faithful to each other until the end of your lives? Lu Yina took a breath, calmed her emotions, and replied, I do. The MC then said to the groom, Yi Chen, Mr. Yi Chen, do you? Without thinking, Yi Chen didn't even wait for the MC to finish the sentence, and he answered, I do. The MC also laughed and said, it seems that our groom is very eager and can't wait to consummate the marriage. All the guests present burst out laughing. Chapter 143, Got a Boyfriend. Everyone's laughter drowned out the wedding march. Lu Yina, however, was blushing from the MC's words, with a happy and sweet smile on the corner of her mouth. Everyone present couldn't help but marvel at Lu Yina's smile. My goodness! The bride is so beautiful. How could she not be? The bride is the school beauty queen of our university who dominated the rankings for several years. I heard that the bride and groom haven't graduated yet. They took a break from school when she got pregnant. That's normal, didn't you see the triplets? It's exhausting to carry triplets. The bride is really something. Yeah. I guess after the bride goes back to school, the current school beauty queen will have to give way. You're right, although the bride is married, she feels even more beautiful, with a little more maternal tenderness. But I can see the hard work of carrying triplets. Although it's good, it's really not easy for the bride. Suffering once can fulfill all my wishes, and I'm willing to work hard. Yes, yes, yes. Lu Yina, wearing a long white train, and her 3 children quickly became the focus of the entire audience. The 3 babies were also held up by their aunts. Although the 3 babies were only 100 days old, they looked at their mother and father with their eyes open, as if they were seriously witnessing their parents' wedding. Daddy is so handsome. Mommy is so beautiful. On the wedding stage, Yi Chen and Lu Yina have already exchanged rings. Lu Yina looks at Yi Chen earnestly through the veil, and slowly lifts the veil for herself. Yi Chen embraces Lu Yina deeply, and the two kiss each other in front of the entire audience of over 1,000 people. After they have finished kissing, they embrace again. At this point, the MC speaks again, Hey, bride and groom, you really don't consider us outsiders, do you? You have to hold back. Only then did Yi Chen reluctantly part with Lu Yina. Lu Yina blushed and looked at the people present. Looking at her parents, relatives and friends, her sisters and her baby, tears slowly slipped down her face. Yi Chen was also a little emotional, his eyes brimming with tears. He gently took a tissue from his sister next to him and wiped the tears from Lu Yina's face, saying tenderly, My dear. He could only whisper the words, unable to say anything comforting. After a while, the MC immediately mobilized the audience, excitedly saying, Next, let our bride throw the bouquet to our best man and maid of honor. Lu Yina had also gathered her emotions by now and smiled happily. Looking at Yingying, she said, Yingying, you asked for it yourself, so I'll pass on my good luck to you. Are you ready? Yingying immediately took her place and said to Lu Yina, Hurry up. No one else can take it from me. The other bridesmaids refused, saying, No way, whoever grabs it first gets it. The best man looked at the group of bridesmaids fighting over the bouquet and immediately stepped aside, saying, Go ahead, we guys won't get in the way. With so few competitors, the bridesmaids were naturally happy. Although they had only just graduated, they were willing to give up their careers and go home to marry and have children for a man like Yi Chen. Lu Yina smiled at her sisters and happily turned her back. All her sisters were ready. Lu Yina let out a deep breath, closed her eyes and threw the bouquet in her hands. However, she threw it crookedly, and Yi Hui looked at everyone with a dumbfounded expression as he held the bouquet. Ah, no. I didn't want to grab it, it just ran into my hands by itself. Everyone laughed, and Yi Hui's friends and brothers all came forward to congratulate him. Brother, it's hard to defy the will of heaven, the next wedding banquet will definitely be yours. Yi Hui quickly shoved the bouquet into Yingying's hands. I don't want to get married so soon. Here you go. Yingying was also furious. If I didn't grab it, it's not mine, so I'm giving it back to you. Yi Hui, however, refused to take it. The MC, however, invited Yingying onto the stage. Congratulations to this young lady, please go up to the wedding stage first. Yingying had no choice. This was her sister's wedding, and she didn't want to cause trouble. So, she immediately took the bouquet and went up to the stage. Yi Hui's parents, who were watching from the audience, were overjoyed when they saw their future daughter-in-law take the bouquet. They were also hoping that their son would be the next to get married. That way, they could have grandchildren sooner. Little Miss looks so pretty. So on behalf of all the single guys here, I have a question for you. The MC said, glancing at the guys in the audience. I don't know, is Little Miss single right now? The guys in the audience were all excited, and they looked up at the wedding stage. Gu Yingying wasn't as pretty as Lu Yana, but she wasn't bad. It was just that Gu Yingying was obviously taken aback by the MC's question. For a moment, she didn't know how to answer. Lu Yana shook Gu Yingying, come on, aren't you single? Gu Yingying was also very torn up inside. Yi Hui's parents already knew that she was Yi Hui's girlfriend, but many people didn't know that. If she said she had a boyfriend, wouldn't that be sealing her own fate? Damn it! If I had known this was going to happen, I would never have agreed to be Yi Hui's fake girlfriend. I've really picked the low-hanging fruit and lost the big prize. I'm so angry. In the end, she did not disappoint Yi Hui or Yi Hui's parents. She gritted her teeth and nodded, saying, I have a boyfriend. So be it. Maybe my true love is not here. Lu Yana seemed shocked by Gu Yingying's answer. Yingying, you have a boyfriend? You hit it so well. Gu Yingying whispered in Lu Yana's ear, I'll explain later. Lu Yana just looked at Gu Yingying with curiosity. Although, if her sister really had a boyfriend, she would still be happy for her sister. Yi Hui's parents in the audience nodded with satisfaction, which was an indirect admission of their son's status. Yi Hui, your son is not bad, why do you think of me as so unbearable? Gu Yingying's words made the men present feel a bit lost. But not Yi Hui. Yi Hui looked at Gu Yingying's eyes with a little more gratitude. He was still grateful that Gu Yingying had not revealed his secret and admitted to having a boyfriend. The MC immediately said, little sister, how can you already have a boyfriend? You're going to disappoint all the boys here. The boys present all let out a sigh. Okay. The little sister already has a boyfriend, so let's not break up the couple. We wish the little sister success in her relationship soon. The MC could only say with regret. Come back and invite me to host your wedding. Everyone laughed heartily, and the whole wedding was filled with laughter. Then, let's cut the cake and open the champagne. Chapter 144. The wedding is complete. As soon as the MC finished speaking, the staff pushed out the cake and champagne. Lu Yana had to let Gu Yingying go for the time being. Yi Chen and Lu Yana cut the 6-layered cake and opened the champagne under the watchful eyes of the crowd. The 3 babies were also taken back to the private room by the 3 aunts to be fed. The wedding was considered complete. Under the guidance of the staff, Lu Yana got off the wedding stage. Yi Chen sat back down in his seat, and now it was time to serve the food. Yi Chen's parents also hurriedly saved food for Lu Yana, in case there was no food left when she returned from changing her dress. The bridesmaids and groomsmen sat at the same table, and Gu Yingying and Yi Hui sat together. Given Yi Hui's straightforward personality, he naturally just ate on his own. Gu Yingying didn't pay any attention to Yi Hui either, but Yi Hui's mother, who was sitting nearby, was extremely anxious. She knew her son's character well. He probably hadn't yet awakened to the world, and didn't know what tenderness and consideration meant. Yi Hui's mother decided right then and there that she would give Yi Hui a good scolding when they got home, so that he would know what consideration meant. After a few dishes were served, the MC stood on the wedding stage and said into the microphone, Today is really a very happy day. Not only is it the wedding, but also the 100th day of the 3 little babies of the host family. Today is also the first day of the opening of our Lao Phuc Ki restaurant, and Lao Phuc Ki is even more of our bride's family business. The bride's father has also prepared for his daughter's banquet for more than 20 years. This full table of dishes even contains the expectations and love of a father for his daughter. Lu Fuji is famous for its braised dishes, but it is also a multi-cuisine restaurant. Here you can also enjoy dishes that combine Chinese and Western cuisine. The banquet today is a good example. I hope everyone can taste it with all their heart. Thank you all for coming. These words were also what Yi Chen told the MC to say. Father Lu was also very grateful for what Yi Chen had done for him, and nodded at Yi Chen to show his appreciation. Yi Chen also nodded at Father Lu with a smile. The MC's words, however, caused the guests present to discuss the matter. Wow, so the woman's family is so rich? Yes, they can rent thousands of square meters in Huachang building, they really have quite a lot of strength. Yes. Looking at this hall, it's more than 1,500 square meters, and there are 3 floors in total. When I first arrived, I saw someone go up to the 3rd floor. It's just as you saw, the woman's father rented the 3 floors here to open a restaurant and come to Xiangqing to develop. Yes, I just heard the relatives on the bride's side say that the bride's father is one of the top tycoons in Yun City. And the bride is an only child. My goodness, that's really rich. Renting this place must cost around 2 million a month. be confident, and replace around with more than. The groom's family is quite rich too, right? I heard from the bride's side that each of the in-laws was given 10 million yuan in pocket money. And the bride price was more than 5 million yuan. Probably because 520-1314 sounds better. Didn't the bride's family also give them a kulanan as a dowry? I just saw it outside. Indeed, the world of the rich is really beyond me. The guests present were also in the middle of a lively conversation. Lu Yana had also returned in a different dress. She had pulled her hair up, which made her face look even more delicate and beautiful. She slowly walked in from the front door and sat in the chair of honor. Yi Chen hurried over to take her, and Ye's mother also brought the dishes over to her. Lu Yana sweetly said, "Thank you, Mom." Ye's mother nodded with a smile, "Hurry up and eat, we'll be toasting soon." The guests were all captivated by Lu Yana, while Lu Wei, who was sitting in her seat watching the whole thing, lowered her head, trying to hide her jealous expression. When she looked up again, her face had replaced it with a determined look. She cooed to her mother sitting next to her, "Mom, I want to come to Xiangqing too and find a good man like my brother-in-law." Lu Wei's mother was unwilling. Wei, I don't want to leave Yun City. If you were in Yun City, I could still help out a bit. How about we stay in Yun City? Lu Wei was also her only daughter. Her father was a doctor. At that time, the policy did not allow for a second child. If she could have a second child, she would probably have a younger brother or sister. But Lu Wei also insisted on her own, "I don't want to, I haven't even ventured out of the big city, and I don't want to stay in the small county of Yun City for the rest of my life. And there are no boys in Yun City that I like, do you want me to end up alone?" Lu Wei's mother was also worried. She didn't want her daughter to be too far away, either. Although it was only a few hours' drive to Xiangqing, or about an hour if you took the high-speed train, it wasn't considered too far. It's just that I don't know what kind of man Lu Wei will find to be her husband. If she doesn't want to live with her in-laws, they can't afford to buy a house in Xiangqing to live near Lu Wei. After all, not everyone is as capable as Yi Chen and can afford a big villa. "Mom, I'm just here to try my luck, I want to come here to help my uncle." Lu Wei's mother couldn't help but be surprised. "You studied dancing, how can you think of coming here to help your uncle?" "Lu Wei, although I dance, I am also interested in cooking, and I am quite talented at it. Besides, isn't it good to learn more than one thing? Learning how to cook well will be beneficial to me even if I get married and have children in the future." Lu Wei's mother thought about it and felt that there was some truth in what she said. "Well, I'll talk to your uncle and let him arrange something for you here in Fragrance City." Lu Wei nodded contentedly. Her own purpose had already been achieved. Because she firmly believed that after the restaurant opened, Yi Chen would definitely come here to help, because she had heard their discussions when she was in Yun City, and planned to hand over the restaurant on this side of Xiangqing to Yi Chen and the two of them to run, while her uncle was preparing to retire. And if she entered the restaurant early and got a good grasp of the situation here, it would be relatively advantageous for her future plans. So she lowered her head and gave a sinister smile. Chapter 145, I don't want this kind of fate. Over here, Yi Hui looked at his phone and nudged Gu Yingying with his hand. "My mom said to go over to her table to eat, do you want to go?" Gu Yingying looked at Yi Hui's parents, who were looking at her with enthusiasm, and she felt a little embarrassed. This is not good. "Yi Hui, what's not good about it? My parents aren't going to eat you." Gu Yingying, however, lost her temper. "Isn't that indirectly letting so many people know that my boyfriend is you?" "I'm not going, you go if you want. When I first said I'd be your fake girlfriend, I didn't say I'd admit it in front of so many people." Yi Hui was also at a loss. "Forget it, if you're not going, then I'm not going either." So, he sent a message to his parents, "Mom, Yingying doesn't want to go, there are too many people." Yi Hui's mother looked at the message on her phone and thought again. But yes, she had just admitted that she had a boyfriend, and here she was sitting next to Yi Hui on her side, which was the same as telling everyone that her boyfriend was Yi Hui. It was only natural for this young girl to be shy. It would be better to wait until their relationship was better before saying anything, because if she was too aggressive, she might scare away this future daughter-in-law. That was not a result she wanted. So she gave her son an okay sign. Yi Hui continued to whisper to Gu Yingying, "See, my parents are quite reasonable." Gu Yingying also glanced at Yi Hui's parents. In fact, she still thought Yi Hui's parents were quite good, at least they were reasonable people who would not force others, and they were not strong-willed either. However, Gu Yingying did feel that she had become Yi Hui's real girlfriend. Gu Yingying immediately exclaimed to herself, warning herself, "You're just playing the role of Yi Hui's girlfriend, don't get any ideas. You're a fake girlfriend." Thinking about this, Gu Yingying also became a little more sober and continued to eat with her head down. Yi Chen also kept an eye on his wife and child. Seeing that his wife didn't like greasy food, he immediately helped her clean it and feed it to her. Seeing that the dishes were almost served, and the last vegetables and steamed buns had not yet been served, Ye's mother called Yi Chen and the others. "Yi Chen, let's go toast." Yi Chen's parents, Yi Hui's parents, Lu Yina's parents, plus Yi Hui and Gu Yingying, set off to toast. The best man and maid of honor were responsible for bringing wine and tea, while Yi Hui's parents were responsible for handing out red envelopes. After the division of labor, they set off. They toasted and handed out red envelopes. Everyone gave their sincere blessings to the golden couple, Lu Yina and Yi Chen, and they were full of praise for the food at Lu's restaurant. In Xiangqing, ever since your restaurant opened, it has had the best braised food in the city. Yes, look at this braised pigeon, it's so tender and flavorful. It's the first time I've eaten it in Xiangqing. Boss, do you have private rooms here? Papa Lu was overjoyed to hear everyone praise the deliciousness of his food. He raised his hand and said seriously to everyone, "Don't worry, we have private rooms on the third floor that can seat groups of 4 to 10, perfect for family or company dinners. And since everyone is a family friend or relative, you all get 12% off. Great! The boss is so generous." Yi Chen was very satisfied with the result, and Lu Yina was happy for her father to see him so happy. After all the toasts, it probably took almost an hour. Yi Hui was also drunk quite a bit, and was already in a state of red face. Naturally, no one dared to get the bride drunk, and during the period, some people also tried to get Gu Yingying drunk, but Yi Hui stopped them one by one. Seeing Yi Hui's eyes, Gu Yingying's eyes also changed. She also didn't expect that Yi Hui would also have such a manly side. Everyone else was trying to get the bridesmaids drunk so they could take advantage of them, but Yi Hui had actually gone so far as to do that. She was warmed to the core. Yi Hui's parents saw what was going on and were delighted. It's going to work. After the toast was over, Yi Chen and Lu Yina and the others quickly grabbed a bite to eat and quickly went downstairs to the entrance to see the guests off. Getting married is just like this, it's really exhausting, but it's also worth it to feel tired. After all, this is the only day in your life. So a little tiredness is fine. During this time, Lu Yina also went to breastfeed, and Gu Yingying followed her. Yi Hui, however, had been so drunk that he passed out, and went to rest in a private room. Yi Hui's parents sent the guests off and then took him home. Lu Yina and Gu Yingying were in another private room. Lu Yina asked her best friend with a smile, "Yingying, you're being honest. Who's the boyfriend?" "Hi. You have a boyfriend, and you even asked me to keep it a secret. Are we really best friends?" Gu Yingying was also anxious. "Nana, listen to me, it's not what you think. I'll be honest with you. I don't actually have a boyfriend." Lu Yina looked at her in disbelief. "Then what was that just now?" "Gu Yingying, I agreed to be Yi Hui's fake girlfriend and lie to his family." Lu Yina stared. "No way? How did you two meet? Why haven't you mentioned this before?" Gu Yingying is desperate for her friend's sake. "Didn't I join a mutual aid group for college students before? I added Yi Hui there. At the time, I didn't know about the relationship between Yi Hui and Yi Chen. I just found out today. I swear, I'm not lying." "Lu Yina, go on." "Gu Yingying, Yi Hui posted in the group that he was looking for a girl to pretend to be his girlfriend, so I added him. That's how we met." Lu Yina also finds it amazing. This is really fate. Gu Yingying, however, doesn't think so. "Fate my ass. I don't want any of this. I was shocked when I saw him at the hotel. I really didn't expect that he was Yi Chen's younger brother. This is really unexpected." Lu Yina, however, smiles. "So why do I feel that your peach blossom is coming?" "No. Please don't. I also don't have any feelings for him," Gu Yingying said with some trepidation. Lu Yina seemed to see through Gu Yingying. "See, you hesitated, but whenever you hesitate, then this matter is likely to be true. So, there is really a possibility that you two could work out." Chapter 146 Holding Hands with You, Growing Old with You. Gu Yingying was also unsure about her attitude towards Yi Hui. At the time, she just thought it would be fun, so she gave it a try. And, it might even lead to an affair or something, but so far, nothing substantial has happened between her and Yi Hui doesn't have any reason to make her fall in love. She is generally very rational when it comes to relationships, so she doesn't fall in love with just anyone. Yi Hui, then I'll work hard. Lu Yina shook her head, smiled at her best friend, and said nothing more. Love comes when it comes, and no one can stop it. Whether the two of them can make it or not depends on their fate. However, Lu Yina had a strong feeling that the two of them would definitely make a great couple. After Yi Chen's parents had seen their guests off, they drove back to their new home. It was already past 9 when they arrived home. Everyone was busy with their own things, and Yi Chen and Lu Yina, who had gotten married that day, naturally had nothing else to do. Other relatives had also come to the house, and the children had been picked up and taken home to bathe, feed, and put to bed. The adults gathered in the living room chatting, and after Yi Chen and Lu Yina had tidied up their room, they came down to serve tea to the relatives. The relatives had also prepared the renaming red envelopes long ago. First, of course, they offered tea to Yi Chen's parents. Yi Chen's parents sat on 2 stools side by side. Auntie Zhang poured the tea and brought it over. Yi Chen and Lu Yana stood in front of them. Lu Yana took the tea that Auntie Zhang handed over, bowed, and shouted to Yi Chen's father, "Dad, please have some tea." Yi Chen's father smiled, took out a red envelope from his pocket, and handed it to Lu Yana. She took the tea from Lu Yana's hands, took a sip, and then put it back on Aunt Zhang's tray. Lu Yana took the tea from Aunt Zhang's hands again, and shouted to Yi Mama, "Mom, please have some tea." Yi Mama also took out a red envelope and handed it to Lu Yana. "Good, good. From now on, this family will be in your hands and Yi Chen's." Lu Yana took the red envelope from Yi Mama's hands and put it in Yi Chen's hands, and said, "Thank you, Mom." Mom Yi was very happy, she was 100% satisfied with Lu Yana. Next, tea was offered to Yi Hui's parents and some of the extended family. After the tea was offered and the red envelopes were collected, Yi Chen's parents and Lu Yana's parents saw their relatives off, and they quickly went back to take a bath, so that they could take over from the aunts and take care of the babies. Today, the children have been playing with the adults all day. Since it's the first time they've met so many people, they're a bit more excited and have slept less. They fell asleep on the way home. The aunts have decided to wait until after the bath to feed the babies, otherwise they might spit up. Fortunately, the bathroom in the new villa is quite large, with a floor area of almost 20 square meters, so the 3 children can bathe at the same time, which saves a lot of time. Yi Chen then hugged Lu Yana and returned to the room. At this time, Yi Chen's system woke up. Congratulations to the host for completing a special mission, and the system rewards the host with a national chain of shopping malls. Yi Chen's hand holding Lu Yana's paused. Oh my god. A national chain of shopping malls. Da Mingfa. It has actually become mine. I'll go. This time, Yi Chen was shocked again. Da Mingfa is probably worth tens of billions of dollars, right? I don't know what the market value is. At this moment, Lu Yana mysteriously smiled at Yi Chen and said, "Honey, there is something that we need to do together." Yi Chen looked at Lu Yana and quickly pushed her against the wall, coming up with a wall punch. "Honey, are you in such a hurry?" Lu Yana pushed Yi Chen away and laughed. "Honey, don't get the wrong idea. I do have something to do with you, but it's not what you're thinking." Yi Chen looked at Lu Yana suspiciously. Lu Yana covered her mouth and laughed, shaking her head helplessly. She turned around and walked into the cloakroom, coming out with a stack of A4 paper in her hand and a bag of paintbrushes and paints. Yi Chen looked at Lu Yana in confusion and asked, "Wife, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to paint me without any clothes on?" Lu Yana scolded him, "Go. You're so full of it." Lu Yana put everything on the table, laid the paper flat, took out the palette, squeezed out a few brighter colors on it, took out a brush and mixed the colors into a few warm colors she liked. She rearranged the paper once more and then said to Yi Chen, who was full of doubts, "Husband, give me your hand." Yi Chen obediently held out his big hand, and Lu Yana took the brush and applied the mixed powder blue to Yi Chen's hand. Yi Chen was even more confused by her actions. "Wife, what on earth are you trying to do?" Yi Chen finally asked when Lu Yana was about to paint his hand with the paint. Lu Yana smiled and said, "You'll find out in a moment." After painting Yi Chen's hand with the paint, she moved his hand onto the A4 paper and pressed down heavily. She lifted Yi Chen's hand up and took another darker paint, smearing it over the hand, blending the powder blue paint into other colors, and leaving a handprint on another piece of paper. After printing several palm prints of different colors in a row, Lu Yana finally let Yi Chen go wash his hands. "Honey, you go wash your hands first. When you come out in a while, you'll be able to see your wife's masterpiece." Yi Chen had no choice but to do as Lu Yana said, and with his hands raised, he walked into the bathroom. When she saw that Yi Chen had gone in, Lu Yana picked up another paintbrush and painted her own hands. After painting her hands, she put them together with Yi Chen's handprints, and then connected them to the rest of the handprints on the table one by one. Yi Chen came out of the bathroom and saw the finished products on the table. He hugged Lu Yana from behind. "Honey." Lu Yana smiled and rubbed her face against Yi Chen's. "Honey, do you like it?" Yi Chen kissed Lu Yana. "It's beautiful. Holding your hand and growing old with you, Nana, I will never let you down in this life." Lu Yana was happy in her heart, knowing that Yi Chen could definitely understand the meaning of her painting. Two people on the same channel can only go on forever. She believed that what Yi Chen said, he could definitely do. "Honey, I believe in you." Yi Chen hugged Lu Yana and kissed her. After a passionate kiss, Lu Yana nudged Yi Chen. "I'm going to take a shower first, my hands are dirty." Yi Chen let out a deep breath. "I'll wash them for you, this paint is so hard to wash off." Saying this, Yi Chen took Lu Yana's hands, which were full of paint, looked at her with adoring eyes, and walked into the bathroom together. Hold hands with you, grow old with you. Chapter 147, Supporting Your Wife's Dreams. Early the next morning, Lu Yana got up from bed with her back hurting, patted Yi Chen on the shoulder and woke him up. "Honey, wake up." Yi Chen opened his eyes with sleepy eyes. "Honey, why are you up so early?" Lu Yana had to be patient and say, "Today is the first day of our marriage, and in the morning we have to pour tea for our parents." Yi Chen rolled in bed a couple of times and said, okay. The two got up together and brushed their teeth and washed their faces together. Looking at the couple's honeymoon toiletries, Lu Yana felt truly happy. Yi Chen tapped Lu Yana on the head as she was brushing her teeth. Silly girl, what are you daydreaming about? Lu Yana gave Yi Chen a glare as if she were angry. Great. Bullying your wife on the first day of your honeymoon. I'll tell my parents. See how they deal with you. Yi Chen also grinned wickedly and said, do you want me to tell them in detail how I bullied you? Ha! Lu Yana gave him a disgusted look and said, nasty. After that, she ignored Yi Chen. After brushing her teeth, she used a dry shampoo to spray her unwashed hair from the night before a few times, tidied herself up, and then went to change her clothes. Ye's parents had also got up early, and Auntie Zhang had already helped the baby brush his teeth and feed him with the other two aunts, and they were downstairs basking in the sun. The baby was probably too tired from playing with the adults yesterday, and never woke up once to drink milk last night. He slept until 8 o'clock the next morning, and has now followed the aunts for a stroll in the courtyard. The child has also grown quickly in the past 2 months. Now, the eldest child is already over 70 centimeters tall and weighs 20 kilograms. Compared to his two younger siblings, he is a bit stronger. Sometimes Yi Chen feels that he is heavy even when he is just holding him. Yi Chen and Lu Yana went downstairs together. They had only moved into this house 2 days ago, and they hadn't really had a chance to look around. They had been too busy getting married, and there had been so much to do in the past few days that they felt like they were running out of time. Auntie Zhang smiled and said to Yi Chen and Lu Yana, Chen, Nana, you're up. Good morning. Yi Chen and Lu Yana also smiled and greeted Auntie Zhang. Good morning, Auntie Zhang. Lu Yana asked, Auntie Zhang, where are Mom and Dad? Auntie Zhang said, you mean Yi Chen's parents? They went outside to sunbathe with the baby. Lu Yana whispered to Auntie Zhang, should we serve tea to Mom and Dad this morning? Auntie Zhang said cheerfully, oh, those were the rules in the past. Now these customs have been simplified. Just now, Yi Chen's mother told me that after worshipping the gods in the morning, it's fine to forget about everything else. So Nana, Yi Chen's mother told me to tell you that you can go back to sleep for a bit, and we'll wake you up for lunch. Before Lu Yana could say anything, Auntie Zhang continued, oh yes, the babies have already had their milk, and none of them woke up last night, so that's why we didn't disturb you last night. Now it seems that these 3 little babies are really quite sensible. They know that their parents are newlyweds and slept until dawn. Well, it really wasn't in vain to raise you all. Yi Chen thought to himself. Lu Yana also smiled, then I'll go for a walk too. I haven't really looked around here since we moved here. After smiling and saying goodbye to Auntie Zhang, she took Yi Chen with her as they walked out of the villa. Yi Chen said with a smile, Nana, do you want to stop breastfeeding? Lu Yana was reluctant. The babies are only 3 months old, so we should continue breastfeeding until they are 6 months old. Breast milk is good for babies' immune systems. Yi Chen, I was just thinking that in about a week or so, we'll have to go back to school. I guess it'll be inconvenient then. You'll have to pump milk while you're in class, and that's... Lu Yana thought about it for a moment. That is a problem. After Yi Chen learned what his wife was thinking, he tried to figure out a way to help her solve the problem. Yi Chen suddenly said, why don't we use the RV? After a pause, he continued, isn't there a refrigerator in the RV? You can milk the cow in the RV, which is more comfortable, and then put the milk in the refrigerator to keep it cold, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Lu Yana exclaimed, honey, you're so smart. Yi Chen giggled, besides, if we're both busy, we can still go on a date in the RV. Lu Yana blushed when she heard Yi Chen say this. What are you doing? That's the school, don't you dare. Yi Chen, what are you thinking? You don't want so many people to see us kissing, do you? Lu Yana pouted, but isn't it even more likely to be misunderstood in the RV? Yi Chen put his arm around Lu Yana. We have a license, so what if there are misunderstandings? Let them talk. Lu Yana was at her wit's end with him, but she just quietly thought to herself, I can't let Yi Chen get away with anything when the time comes. The two of them found their way to Ye's mother and Lu's mother, who were strolling in the courtyard. Ye's mother smiled and said to Yi Chen and Lu Yana, you're up already? Why didn't you sleep in a bit longer? Yi Chen said, I woke up and got up. I wanted to enjoy some quality time with my parents. It's been a long time since I got up this early. Yes, we don't have to be disturbed by other people anymore, or rather, by animals. Having a yard is really different. Ye's mother asked with concern, Chen, Nana, you two are going back to school in a few days, have you got everything ready? Yi Chen said, Nana and I will go back to school tomorrow and just need to complete the formalities. Ye's mother and Lu's mother nodded, well, that's good, the children have us, so don't worry. Finish your studies early and then come back and help Nana's father. Yi Chen had no choice. Lu's father was thinking about retiring. There were more real estate properties in Yun City, and he had already found someone to take over the dozen or so stores of Lu Fuqi in Yun City. It was just a matter of earning less and sharing the profits with his own people to let them manage. He could just go back once a month to prepare the recipes. There were master chefs in the kitchen there, so none of this would be a problem. Lu Yina, however, said from the side, "Mom, we will." It's just that Lu Yina didn't really want to. She didn't want to go directly to her father's house to help after graduation. She wanted to develop her own career. Later, she asked Yi Chen in her room, "Honey, do you want to go to my father's restaurant too?" Yi Chen said, "It's not impossible. After all, I don't have much to do either, and I can learn how to run a business from my father." Lu Yina also let go of her worries. "As long as you're not being forced, I'll be relieved. I really like studying art, so I don't want to work in my father's restaurant directly after graduation. I want to fulfill my dream of having my own art exhibition in an international exhibition hall." Yi Chen doesn't really have any aspirations for this. He thinks that as long as he can make money, that's fine. Naturally, he supports his wife in this pursuit. Thinking about this, Yi Chen promised Lu Yina, "Nana, don't worry, I'll help Dad out, so just go after your dreams without fear. No matter what difficulties you encounter, and whenever you need your husband, he will definitely stand by your side without hesitation." Lu Yina couldn't help but hug Yi Chen tightly. "Honey, thank you. Thank you for supporting my dreams." At this moment, Lu Yina just felt that she was really so lucky. Chapter 148 Back to School. At that moment, Yi Chen's system rang. "Congratulations to the host and his wife for completing the task, and you are rewarded with 25% of the shares of the new single national supermarket." Damn! Another mall? Demingfa just didn't understand it, and now there's another supermarket? In theory, there's already a Demingfa supermarket in Demingfa Mall, so what does this mean? Yi Chen really couldn't figure it out, so he simply stopped trying. The next morning, Yi Chen drove Lu Yina back to Xiangda and completed all the formalities. As they walked on campus, Yi Chen was also full of thoughts. He really didn't expect that after getting married, he could once again enjoy being in love on campus. Yi Chen felt that his love with Lu Yina was like getting married after falling in love. Now that they had a child and were married, they could still go back to campus and continue to fall in love holding hands. Yi Chen took Lu Yina's hand and strolled around the campus, walking down the paths they had never walked together before, visiting every corner of the campus and leaving their precious footprints. Lu Yina said with emotion, "I wonder what it will be like when we come back here when we're old and walk down the paths again." Yi Chen also looked forward to it. "It'll probably be a very beautiful sight, right?" Lu Yina nodded, and when she got home later, she would definitely paint such a scene. Two old people with white hair, holding hands, growing old together. The two of them had eaten together in the school cafeteria, and the university students in military training had seen Lu Yina and Yi Chen on the playground early in the morning. Oh my god! Isn't this the heavenly sister I just saw on the playground? Yes, this sister is really beautiful. Wow! Are all the older students here this pretty? Don't look anymore, she has a boyfriend. So what if she has a boyfriend? It's fine even if she's married. Come on! Don't you look in the mirror yourself? If someone else is married, this kind of thinking of yours is not allowed. I'm just saying. I have to say, this person really has a distorted sense of values, thinking about poaching someone else's boyfriend even when they're married. Everyone despises him. Yi Chen naturally heard the idle gossip of these people vaguely. After finishing lunch with Lu Yina, he quickly left the cafeteria. While in the car, Yi Chen solemnly told Lu Yina, "In the future, after class, when there are no classes, you must return to the RV. I will come find you after class." Lu Yina obviously heard what those people said, and obediently nodded and said, "Okay." Yi Chen and Lu Yina returned home after 1 p.m. Yi Chen's mother had just wanted to call Yi Chen, but when she saw the two of them return, she said to Yi Chen, "I think Debao has a bit of diarrhea. I don't think his poop is normal today, it's in the shape of milk curds. Do you think we should take him to the doctor or something?" Lu's mother also said, "The three babies haven't had a physical examination or vaccinations for more than a month. If you're free this afternoon, take them for a physical examination, and tomorrow for vaccinations. Appointments are now made by phone, and we're getting old and don't know how to do it. You should go before school starts and take care of the babies first." Yi Chen quickly nodded, yes, we're being negligent. Yes, we've been busy with the move and the wedding these past few days, and we've forgotten about the baby. Yi Chen asked with concern, "What's wrong with the baby?" Ye's mother said, "Go take a look at the poop the baby has been producing. It doesn't look normal to me, and it's been 2 or 3 times in one day. I looked it up online, and it said it's normal if it's less than 5 times a day, and the baby doesn't seem to be feeling sick. And I saw that there were some milk flakes in his poop, and it was also a bit green, so I was wondering if I should take him to the doctor to have a look." Yi Chen nodded, "Let's take him to the doctor this afternoon. Nana, you hurry up and register the baby, and take the 3 little ones for a medical checkup." Lu Yina responded, while taking out her phone to make an appointment for the baby to register. It was only a little past 1 o'clock, and the doctor didn't start work until 2:30, so it wasn't urgent. In the afternoon, they went to wait in line. The medical examination procedures are more or less the same, and when they arrived at the doctor's office, Yichen quickly brought up his eldest son and took out his phone to show the doctor the photos of the baby he had taken at home. "Doctor, this baby looks a bit like he has diarrhea in the photos. Is he a bit constipated? What should we do?" The doctor took a look at the photos in Yichen's hand, and then asked Yichen to show his eldest son's belly and tap it with his hand. The doctor then said, "Yes, there is a bit of indigestion, and the tummy is a bit bloated, but it's not a big problem. For this young child, a little probiotics will do the trick. Also pay attention to feeding, don't let him eat too much. As the old people always say, there is truth in the saying, 7-part full, 3-part hungry. This way, the child will not get sick easily. If it becomes a problem of food retention, then the child will get sick." And Ye's mother on the side also said, "But he always has to eat until he is full, otherwise he will cry and fuss." The doctor continued to explain, "A baby's stomach is only the size of a marble at first, and it only expands after they eat a lot. You can feed him less. If he normally drinks 240 milliliters, you can just make 220 milliliters. You don't have to starve him, just feed him less. If you're not sure how much to feed your baby, just feed him the same amount as the other 2 babies. Just don't let him get too full." Ye's mother nodded, "Oh, I see. Good doctor, I understand." In the past, when she saw that her eldest son was still crying after finishing 240 milliliters, she would make him drink another 240 milliliters. This time, she listened to the doctor's advice. If he is still crying after finishing 240 milliliters, she will make him drink 30 milliliters. The doctor prescribed probiotics for Debeo and told Yichen and his wife, "These are safe for your other 2 babies to drink. If they get constipated or in any other situation, they can drink them." Yichen and Lu Yana nodded quickly. "Okay, thank you, doctor. By the way, we want to take the baby for a vaccination tomorrow. Can Debeo have it?" "Doctor, it's best not to. Wait until the baby is better and have it in a couple of days." "Oh, okay, thank you, doctor." The other 2 babies were fine, so Yichen and the others took the probiotics prescribed by the doctor and went home. That night, after taking the probiotics, Big Bao stopped having diarrhea. It seems that when raising children, you still have to feed them scientifically. Chapter 149, Second Child Can Roll Over. And just as Yichen returned to the room upstairs, the system beeped at this time. "Congratulations to the host for taking the baby for a physical examination and caring for the baby's health. The system rewards 1 million. Ding! The money has arrived." The next day, when they woke up, Yichen and Lu Yana saw that their mothers, Yi and Lu, were like they had discovered a new world. "Nana, Chinchin, come and look." Yichen and Lu Yana were instantly drawn to them. "What is it, Mom? What's wrong?" Ye's mother shouted, "Big deal, big deal." Lu's mother also said, "Yes, yes, yes. You 2 had better come and take a look." Yichen and Lu Yana saw that the 2 women were so excited and emotional, and in confusion followed Yi and Zhang into the baby's room. Auntie Zhang was holding Erbao, and Ye's mother quickly said, "Auntie Zhang, quickly put Erbao down and let Nana and them see Erbao. Erbao is about to turn over." Yichen and Lu Yana were shocked when they heard Ye's mother's words. Lu Yana said excitedly, "Really? Auntie Zhang, hurry up and put Erbao on the bed and come and see." Hearing this, Auntie Zhang immediately put Erbao down. Mom Yi and Mom Lu immediately leaned down and said to Erbao, "Erbao, come on. You can do it." Erbao let out a puff of air and spit out a mouthful of bubbles. Everyone laughed when they saw this. Mom Yi and Mom Lu also joined in, saying, "Come on, baby. You're the best. You're so awesome." Everyone encouraged Erbao, and Erbao gave a big smile. Suddenly, he kicked his legs and flipped over, just as they had predicted. "Wow! Honey, Erbao can really roll over," Lu Yana said excitedly, covering her mouth. Yichen also put his arm around Lu Yana's shoulders. "Yes, Erbao is awesome." Lu Yana couldn't help but look at her older son, who was clapping excitedly for Erbao. Lu Yana couldn't help but look at her older son, who was standing nearby, and asked, "Is it because he's put on a bit of weight and is a bit chunky that he still can't roll over? And my little darling, I can feel that her bones are a bit weak and she doesn't have much strength." "Yichen, I think so, but one day they'll be able to roll over, sit up and walk just like your son. It's amazing to think about, and it's very moving to watch your children grow up." Lu Yana was also looking forward to the future. "I didn't know before, but now I finally understand the meaning of passing on life." Yichen nodded. Lu Yana suddenly took Yichen's hand and said, "Honey, our handprints have already dried, so let's find a frame to put them in and hang them up. When the babies are a little older, we can print their footprints and handprints as well." Yichen nodded with a smile. It was noon when Lu's father returned from the restaurant, which was rare. But just looking at his frowning face, it seemed like he had encountered something. So Yichen asked, Dad, what's wrong? Did something happen at the restaurant? Dad Lu was very busy because the restaurant had only been open for a few days. He was often too busy to even eat, and he also had to watch these new employees to make sure they didn't make mistakes. It would probably be about a month before he felt relieved enough to go back to enjoying his life and leave them in charge. Seeing Lu's father sigh, he had originally wanted to find Yichen to discuss something when he returned this time, so he said, Hey, the problem I'm facing is really no small matter. He shook his head and said, Isn't my eldest brother's daughter graduating soon? Then maybe when Nana got married, she came to visit my restaurant, and last night, my eldest brother called me and said that his daughter Wei Wei had decided to learn something at my restaurant. Originally, I said, she's a dance student, why would she be interested in working in a restaurant? What's the point of not dancing properly and coming to my restaurant? I really can't figure it out, but my brother said that I should just arrange it and give her an idle position, let her do whatever she wants, and if she causes trouble, just kick her out of the restaurant. You tell me, how dare I kick her out? She can leave if she wants to. Besides, she'll be here in Fragrance City in the afternoon, and I'll have to pick her up. Lu's father went on a rant there, but since she was his brother's daughter, he didn't dare say anything. Since she was already here, they should receive her well. It was possible that she couldn't stand it and would leave on her own. Yichen didn't know what to say, so he asked Lu's father, Has she arranged where she'll stay? Lu's father said, I was going to put her up in a hotel. I can't let her stay in the house. In fact, if this were not the Yi family, he would probably have arranged for Lu Wei to stay in the villa, but this is not something he can decide on his own. Even though the house is in Lu Yana's name, he doesn't want Lu Wei, an outsider, to move in. However, Lu Wei thought that her father would arrange for her to stay in the Yi family, and her omnipotent calculations have finally missed this point. Yichen nodded at Lu's father's arrangement. Well, I'll see if I can arrange for her to live near Huachang building, so that it's convenient for her to go to the restaurant. Lu's father also nodded. Are you free around 5:30 p.m.? If you are free, go pick her up, and then find her a hotel to stay in for now. I'm also expected to be busy in the afternoon, as the restaurant can't afford to lose me yet, with so many people coming for afternoon tea. Yichen quickly agreed. Yes, I'm fine with that, Dad. Just send me her contact information and I'll pick her up this afternoon. As soon as Lu's father sent Yichen a text message, he hurriedly wanted to leave. I came back this time to discuss this matter with you. Just remember to pick her up this afternoon and arrange a hotel for her. The restaurant is very busy right now, so I'll go back first. Yichen quickly stopped him. Dad, dinner is almost ready at home, why don't you eat first before you go? But Dad Lu said, No, I'll just grab a bite at the restaurant. Yichen was at his wit's end, and could only urge, Dad, remember to eat on time. Dad Lu nodded, waved to Yichen, and drove off again. Yichen looked at the phone number on his phone and immediately thought of the property manager of Huachang building. He immediately called the property manager, Manager Lu. Chapter 150, It's a simple matter to get into the company. Yichen quickly took out his phone and called the property manager of Huachang building, Lu Manager. The phone was quickly connected. Hello, Mr. Yi, how may I help you? Manager Lu's respectful tone came over the phone. Are there any apartments left in our building? Yichen didn't say what he wanted to use them for, just asked in a casual tone. Manager Lu naturally didn't ask Yichen so many questions, and immediately replied, Mr. Yi, we still have apartments, all of which have been renovated. They were previously hotel apartments, but have now been taken back by our building. So as long as they are cleaned, they can be occupied immediately. Yichen, then clean one out for me this afternoon, and I'll bring a relative over. Manager Lu replied, Okay, Mr. Yi, I'll arrange for someone to clean it now. After Yichen hung up the phone, he added Lu Wei as a friend. At this time, Lu Wei, who was in Jin City, was packing her own luggage and looking at the message on her phone. She couldn't hold back her joy any longer. Everything was going according to her plan, and her plan would really begin when she moved into the Yi family. It had to be said, this Lu Wei was really quite calculating. However, no matter how much she had calculated, she probably hadn't counted on the fact that Lu's father had not let her move into the Yi family. On the other side, after Gu Yingying finished being a bridesmaid, her family also received a video of Gu Yingying admitting in public that she had a boyfriend among relatives and friends. It turned out that at Yichen's wedding banquet, Gu Yingying's parents also had people who knew them go to the wedding banquet, so they captured the video of Gu Yingying grabbing the bouquet and sent it directly to her parents' phone. She was also invited home by her parents, and the two of them took turns questioning her. Yingying, who is it? Do your parents know him? Have they met? Gu Yingying looked at this situation and was immediately confused. Don't come over. This was just like when she had a crush in junior high school. Both of her parents were very interested in her boyfriend, and she didn't know if they were against her having a crush or what, but they were just more concerned about her love life. However, after that first love ended without a trace, she had no interest in falling in love again. So, even through the air, you could feel how excited and emotional her parents were at this moment. Probably they wanted her to get married soon. Gu Yingying could not possibly tell her parents that she was Yi Hui's fake girlfriend, so she had to say, "It's just that. I just have feelings for him, and I don't know how he feels about me." At this, Gu Yingying's parents immediately sat down next to her. "No way? So have you had dinner together?" Gu Yingying recalled the only time they had met alone, when they had just had a cup of milk tea, and shook her head. "We went on one date, but we didn't have dinner." Gu Yingying's mother said, "Daughter, we are also concerned about you. Since your junior high school heartbreak, you have never had a boyfriend again, and we are worried about you. Worried that you won't get married." Gu Yingying, however, said nonchalantly, "What do I care? Your daughter is so beautiful, how could she not find someone?" Gu Yingying seemed to understand the intentions of her parents, who were just trying to find her a good man. "Then you should take the initiative. You should know that it takes more than a veil to catch a man," Gu's father said with a long tone. Gu Yingying's mother also said, "Yes. When your father and I first started going out, I was the one who chased after him. And now we've been together for almost 30 years. So you have to take the initiative." Gu Yingying slumped onto the sofa, exhausted, and said, "Take the initiative, my ass. Working now is killing me. I work overtime every day, and I don't even have time to play with my phone. You don't know, our company is really weird. They collect phones during working hours, and you can't even check your WeChat. I really want to quit, but if I do, I won't be able to support myself." Gu Yingying took the opportunity to complain to her parents, hoping they would understand her situation. Her parents frowned when they heard her, and after looking at each other, they nodded. Her father said, "Yingying, why don't you come work for my friend's company?" After a pause, he said, "It's not that you can't come to my company, but everyone there knows you, and you won't learn anything there. It's different at my friend's company. Is that okay?" Gu Yingying raised an eyebrow at her father and glanced at her mother, thinking, "These two old foxes are so nervous when they find out I have a boyfriend. It seems that Yi Hui and I can still use each other. Ha ha. But Dad is right. If I go to my own company, I won't be able to learn anything. And I'll probably be feted by the staff and won't have to do anything." She has also instantly grasped the weakness of her parents' concern about her love life. "Gu Yingying, what about salary?" "Dad, I will pay you a salary that will never go wrong. You will be paid the same as you are currently being paid at your current company, every month, without fail. If that is possible, you can start work tomorrow." Although Gu Yingying's father is not the majority shareholder of his friend's company, he is the second largest shareholder. Therefore, if Gu Yingying wants to join the company, it is also a matter of his word. Gu Yingying probably didn't expect that she would get lucky out of misfortune and find a job smoothly. Perhaps Gu's father was also concerned about his daughter, saying that he was letting her go out to work out, but in fact he wanted her to find a man who didn't look at her family background and truly loved her. Gu Yingying's parents had also once arranged for her to meet a matchmaker, but Gu Yingying didn't take it seriously. She never cooperated, and even said things like free love and other cliches. This time, Gu's father arranged for her to go to his friend's place, but in fact he also had selfish motives. Gu Yingying suddenly asked, "Dad, do I have to go to work tomorrow?" Gu Dad and Gu Mom looked at each other. "You should take some time off work recently. Go on a date with a guy sometime. You have to take the initiative, don't just stay at home playing games on the bed all the time." Gu Yingying muttered, "We usually communicate by playing games. He's really good at it." Gu Dad couldn't help but be surprised. "What? Play games?" Gu Yingying's mother also looked at her father with disbelief and couldn't help but ask, "Did you meet on a game?" Gu Yingying didn't dare to say how she and Yi Hui met, and could only say, yes, is there a problem? Don't young people like to play games these days? I think it's completely fine, there's no problem at all. Gu Yingying's parents just felt that if they met on a game, they wouldn't take the other person's character seriously, so they were overreacting. Chapter 151, The Green Tea Girl. Gu Dad and Gu Mom were also worried that their daughter had been cheated on, which is why they reacted so strongly. Gu Mom took a moment to compose herself before saying, "How long have you known this man? What is his character like, and what are his friends like? Do you know all of this?" Gu Yingying had no choice but to tell Yi Hui's true situation. "He is the cousin of my friend's husband, and happened to attend my friend's wedding with him that day, where I learned that my friend had become his cousin." Gu's parents then let out a sigh of relief. "Oh, if you know each other, that's good, otherwise someone as confused as you would be cheated without knowing it." Gu Dad thought for a moment. "You are living in Demingfa now, right? Just continue living there. My friend's company is right above Demingfa, so it will be convenient for you to commute to work. Take some time off to rest before going over there. Dad won't stop you from contacting that boy. When you've rested up a bit, I'll tell you to go work over there." Gu Yingying was secretly delighted at this point. She didn't want to go to work in the first place, and now that her family had arranged everything, she didn't want to move at all. Otherwise, do you think she got to be the champion of over 10,000 games? She is an extremely crazy internet-addicted girl, and if she can't play king, she will play gun battle games. After eating at home and returning to her apartment, she opened WeChat and sent a message to Yihui. Yihui, you may not have thought of this, but my parents already know about you. Yihui was playing a game at the time, so he replied, oh, a game? Gu Yingying was instantly intrigued when she heard about the game. After all, she had lost 12 games in a row last night, and she was so angry that she almost deleted the game. Gu Yingying immediately replied, where were you last night? I lost a dozen games in a row and have now dropped to the lowest rank. Yihui, you're so bad at this game, who could possibly take you seriously? In fact, Yihui was just teasing Gu Yingying a little, and he didn't really mean that she was bad at the game. She was a decent mage, but she sometimes lost because she had a bad temper. But the speaker didn't mean it, and the listener took it seriously. Gu Yingying was so angry that she quickly opened the game. Let's play. As soon as Gu Yingying entered the game, Yihui had already invited her in. And when Gu Yingying came in and was about to turn on the microphone to scold Yihui, she discovered that Yihui was actually queuing up with another girl. Gu Yingying immediately typed, wow, is this picking up girls? Yihui, I just queued up, and in order to play with you earlier, I clicked to surrender. I just encountered her in a solo queue. She kept chasing me to make me return her 2 stars. I had no choice, so I had to bring her along. Gu Yingying made a sound with her hand, high score bitch. The girl then turned on her microphone, and a pleasant voice immediately came from her phone, sister, I'm sorry, it was this brother who made me lose a point just now. Although he didn't mean to, I had to let it go because that was my qualifying round after all. As you know, it's really hard to become a king these days. Gu Yingying really couldn't stand her voice anymore, so she sent a message, let's get started. But, can you please turn off your microphone? The girl immediately turned off her microphone. Okay, sister. Gu Yingying, sister? Sister, my ass. Gu Yingying was infuriated, don't call me sister, we're not that close. At this, the girl stopped talking. By now, they had entered the game and were banning heroes. Yihui, a straight man, popped out, people called you sister out of politeness. Gu Yingying was almost half dead with anger at Yihui. But Gu Yingying didn't say anything at this point, swallowing her anger. Let's talk about being the king first. For the sake of the game, she could only bear it until here. While in the game, the green tea girl saw Yihui take a Li Bai, so she followed suit and asked for a Di Xiao. Gu Yingying had already chosen Xiao Xiao as her first choice to play the mid laner. For some reason, Gu Yingying just didn't like the green tea girl. Halfway through the game, the woman sent a text, brother jungler, come over here and I'll walk you home. At that moment, Li Bai, who had only 1 drop of blood left after a teamfight, walked up to Di Xiao. The whole time, Gu Yingying kept thinking, brother jungler, you're awesome, brother jungler, you're so amazing. Gu Yingying, who was holding her phone, suddenly felt inexplicably sad. She probably didn't know what was going on herself, but she just didn't want to play with them anymore. So, she was angry. Throughout the entire game, she died the most, but under Yihui's rhythm, they barely managed to steal the house and win. Gu Yingying simply exited the room and refused to enter no matter how Yihui invited her. Yihui sent Gu Yingying a WeChat message, what's wrong with you again? Gu Yingying took a deep breath, go play with your support sister, I'll solo. Yihui even replied, wait until I help her level up 1 more star, and then I'll come back and play with you in a duo, okay? Gu Yingying didn't reply to him, but she was furious in her heart. You want to play with someone, go ahead. I don't care, you're not the only one who's a Wild King. So she sent a broadcast in the game channel, seeking a CP. Wild King is the first choice for taking you flying. Suddenly, she had hundreds of people add her. See, as soon as I posted it, so many people added me. Gu Yingying couldn't help but snort. She looked carefully at the messages from these people. When she saw the number of a man named Autumn Leaves No Autumn Letter, she clicked on the picture and saw a photo of a man who looked very similar to Daniel Wu. She was instantly attracted. My goodness. He's so handsome. So she immediately agreed to his friend request and quickly invited him, brother, is this your avatar? Autumn Leaves Knows the Fall, Xin also replied to Gu Yingying, little sister, is your avatar also a picture of yourself? Obviously, Gu Yingying also used a picture of herself as her avatar. Of course it's me. I'm pretty and confident. Gu Yingying was so happy when she finished typing this that she couldn't stop smiling. Autumn Leaves Knows the Fall, Xin also replied, mine is also a picture of myself. Shall we play a couple of games before we become a couple? Gu Yingying, yes, yes. She immediately clicked to start the game. Oh my. You can't just lose your temper when playing a game with such a handsome guy. As soon as she entered the game, Liu Jichuan Xin chose a Zhao Yun as his first choice. Gu Yingying also quickly chose a Diaochan, and after taking it, she secretly rubbed her hands together in her heart. Anyway, in the game, nothing is real. If this is really a real photo of him, then that's good, but if not, then just associate him with the hero he often plays. Isn't there a saying in the game like this, as long as the Wild King doesn't post a real photo, you'll be like the hero? Yingying had just looked at that falling leaves knows autumn letters avatar, and already believed what he said. Chapter 152, Anti-Green Tea Girl. Seeing that autumn leaves knows autumn letter was playing the jungler no worse than Yingying was even happier inside. Autumn leaves knows autumn, how should I address you? Yingying asked. At that moment, Autumn Leaves Knows Autumn was playing the jungler and didn't seem to have paid any attention to Yingying. When he had finished playing a red, he paused and, presumably using his hands to type, replied. You can just call me Letter. Yingying covered her mouth and laughed. Hey, that's a pretty good name. She quickly replied, Xin, you can call me Yingying. Xin's jungler action seemed to pause for a moment, and he said something using voice translation, you're very special. Yingying didn't understand. What's so special about me? I don't feel special. Shin, other girls will call me Brother Shin, but you? Yingying paused for a moment, probably because she hadn't expected this question either. She had never played games with other boys before, so she naturally didn't understand this. If you told her to call someone else brother, she probably really couldn't do it. Just thinking about that green tea girl made her a little angry. Yingying couldn't help but retort, do you guys all like it when people call you brother? Xin seemed to be a bit at a loss for words by Yingying's words, and just didn't reply to her for several minutes. Finally, after a team battle, he answered after returning to the city. It's not that I like it, it's just that this can stimulate the protective desire of a normal man. But, forget about the iron straight man, but I'm not an iron straight man. Yingying didn't want to say much to him either, I generally don't call other boys I don't know brother. After the sentence was sent, Xin didn't reply to her. Until the end of the game, Xin did not reply to her. After the game, we kept inviting Yingying, so Yingying first said hello to Xin, send a WeChat message. Okay. Yingying opened WeChat and sent a message to Yihui, what's up? Not playing with the little fairy? Why are you inviting me? Yihui's message came quickly, sis, want to play together? Yihui was obviously avoiding the question, because she had just been tricked. If she didn't help her level up, she would probably have to spend the whole day playing with her. So, was that green tea girl deliberately trying to trick her? At least that's what Yingying thought. And Yihui, who was a straight-laced guy, didn't expect it either. Sister, she's so tricky. I'll quickly help her level up, and I'll never play with her again, he said. Yingying gave a mental frown, you brat will also be taken advantage of one day. You look so happy when people call you brother. But then she thought about what Xin had just told her, that normal men would get lost in the sound of a woman calling them brother, except for the iron straight men. Now, Yingying couldn't help but suspect that Yihui was the legendary iron straight man. But there was no time for Yingying to think about it here. Yingying immediately replied, I still have someone here, we can't play together. Yihui was also anxious. He really didn't want to play with someone who was a team player. How about 5-man queue? I'll find a friend to play with. Yingying, then I have to ask my friend if he wants to play 5-man queue with me. What? Him? Didn't you say you only want to double queue with me? Yingying, you're allowed to double queue with another girl, but I'm not allowed to double queue with my friend? What kind of nonsense is that? She was also very angry at Yihui's words, wait a minute, let me ask my friend. In fact, Yihui just found it novel, and didn't mean anything else. In fact, with Yihui's iron straight man, how could he possibly think of this? Yingying immediately returned to the game and told Xin, I have a friend who wants to queue up together. Can we queue up in a group of 5? Xin was still there at the time and replied, sure. Yingying, then come out, I'll start a group of 5. After coming out, she immediately started a group of 5 and pulled Xin and Yihui together, and Yihui also pulled Green Tea Girl and Li Lizzy together. Li Lizzy didn't know what was going on. As soon as he entered, he saw Yihui and Yingying, as well as Xin and the Green Tea Girl. In his heart, he had already tacitly agreed that Xin and the Green Tea Girl were a couple, while Yihui and Yingying were another couple, and he was the only single guy. It was only when the Green Tea Girl spoke that he was confused. The Green Tea Girl had typed something when choosing her hero, oh my god. It's really so happy to have 3 little brothers taking care of 2 girls. Yingying was also smitten by her tea-flavored words. Li Lizzy on the other end of the phone seemed to sense something, but he didn't say anything. He had seen girls like this before, girls who flirted with everyone, even if no one was interested. Obviously, the 3 guys present ignored the Green Tea Girl. However, the Green Tea Girl was not discouraged and did not speak again. Yihui's first choice for the game was Li Bai, and the Green Tea Girl on the second floor immediately chose a support character named Dichao and said, everyone, I only know how to support, so you have to do your best. Gu Yingying was so angry that she could not help but say, "Sister, sister, sister." Although she did not mind being called sister, she could not stand this kind of green tea girl. Gu Yingying also chose Diaochan to play the mid lane, while AXAN chose Li Xian and Li Lizzy chose Sun Shangxiang. After AXAN had finished choosing, he said, "Let me show you my true hero, Li Xian." Gu Yingying immediately imitated the green tea girl's tone and said, "Brother Xian, you're taking me to fly, so awesome." Li Lizzy and Yi Hui were instantly shocked. "Holy shit. Say brother Hui." Gu Yingying ignored them, while opposite Li Xian just replied with a lovey-dovey expression. Less than a minute into the game, Li Xian in the bottom lane was already in the opposing blue zone, opposing the blue of the opposite side. Li Xian pressed the signal for the mage to take the blue. Gu Yingying replied, "Thank you, brother Li Xian." Gu Yingying was immediately pleased, and she also had more favorable feelings towards Li Xian in her heart. After successfully taking the blue from the opposing team, Li Xian also returned to his own bottom lane to develop. While in the bottom lane, Li Xian said, "My real name is really Li Xian." Li Lizzy also chimed in at this time, "Li Xian can play, he even took the opposing jungle, this game is settled." Green Tea Girl also said, "Wow. Brother Li Xian is really gentlemanly. When someone calls you brother, you have to follow suit." Chapter 153, Louis Wei arrived. Although she felt pleased to have picked the blue card at the start, in the next minute, the opposing team always teamed up to catch Gu Yingying, and her score suddenly became 0-3. Since Gu Yingying had first picked Diaochan, the opposing team also correspondingly picked Zhang Liang to defend the mid lane. Fortunately, they banned the card Emperor of the East, otherwise they would definitely lose this game. They were playing in the 5th row, so the opponent was also playing in the 5th row, so the coordination was still in place. In less than 5 minutes, Gu Yingying lost the middle lane. The green tea girl, however, secretly clicked on a reminder to stop growing and stop rushing. Gu Yingying was directly infuriated. "You are an assist, you should not go to the middle lane to help me in the early game. What are you doing following the jungler?" Obviously, everyone else could see that Gu Yingying was angry, but no one said anything. Gu Yingying also felt that she was asking for trouble, so she continued to develop. At this time, Li Xian said, "Follow me." Gu Yingying followed obediently. After being a follower for a while, a voice suddenly came from the microphone, followed by a deep, magnetic male voice. "You'd better go out with half of your health, and then block Zhang Liang's ultimate for me. I'll avenge you." At this moment, Gu Yingying was so shocked by Li Xian's voice that she forgot her skills and froze in the middle of the bottom lane. "Oh my god. This voice is so beautiful. I'm done for. I think I'm in love with this guy named Li Xian." The green tea girl also opened her mouth, and her weak and helpless voice came through her ears again. "Wow. Brother Li Xian's voice is so beautiful." Gu Yingying couldn't stand it anymore and muted her. And Li Xian's voice came over, "Shut up." Gu Yingying also knew that Li Xian was scolding the green tea girl. Sure enough, the green tea girl's microphone immediately went dark. She only sent out a sentence in words, "Oh, brother Li Xian is so fierce." Only Gu Yingying secretly rejoiced in her heart, "My goodness. Is even scolding people that nice to hear?" At this point, Gu Yingying had long since put Yi Hui out of her mind. Yi Hui held the phone in his hand, looking at it and listening to it, and it didn't feel good in his heart. After all, Gu Yingying was his fake girlfriend, even if it was only fake and not real. Even if Yi Hui was a straight man, he would feel like his territory was being invaded. Li Lizzy was caught in the middle and vaguely sensed a strong smell of gunpowder. He didn't know why he felt this way, but he just felt uncomfortable. This round was naturally won under the leadership of the two great gods Li Xian and Yi Hui. However, Gu Yingying's record was not so good. She also listened to Li Xian and directly played half the meat, with only 2 outputs. In the end, she ended up with a record of February 8, 13. The green tea girl, as a support, always hid in the background and never died once. Even Li Lizzy felt that as a support, if you don't go up and block skills, but hide behind the output, that's going too far. So after playing for 2 more games, no one wanted to team up again. And after Yi Hui helped the green tea girl level up 2 stars, he stopped teaming up with her, cursing in his heart, "Women, it really is a pit." So Yi Hui decided that he would never play with another woman again. No matter how hard the green tea girl pressed the add friend button, Yi Hui would not budge. Being a straight man has its advantages. Gu Yingying, on the other hand, clicked on Li Xian's homepage and took a look. She discovered that Li Xian was really poor, which was no wonder why his heroes didn't have skin. Gu Yingying is an internet-addicted girl who spends a lot of money on games. In addition to some event skins that she doesn't have, she has all the other skins that can be purchased for real money, so she is now at V10, but she has hidden the nobleman symbol. She rarely has event skins because she feels that all the skins that can be purchased for real money feel good in her hands, so she only uses skins that she has purchased. She gave Li Xian several skins as a gift, including those of Li Xian and Zhao Yun. Anyway, she gave Li Xin several skins of the heroes he had just played. Li Xin, who had received a gift reminder, immediately accepted the gift and sent her a message. Thanks for the rich woman's gift, thanks rich woman. Yingying was also amused by him. Don't call me a rich woman, I'm not a rich woman. Li Xin, you gave away several skins at once, aren't you a rich woman? Yingying, I've been online for a long time, I have something else to do, I'll stop now, you go ahead and play. Although Yingying doesn't have to go to work now, her manager just sent her a WeChat message asking her to go back to the office to hand over her work. So she has to go back to the office now to pack up her things. Originally, after Yingying had sent her resignation letter to her manager, she thought she would go back tomorrow to sort things out, but now her manager has asked her to go back early to hand over her work, so there is nothing she can do. After Yingying finished talking, she hurriedly logged off and rushed back to the office to deal with it. On the other side, Lui Wei had already packed her bags and was sitting on the high-speed train to Xiangcheng. It was already 5 o'clock, and Yi Chen had also started to leave to pick up Lui Wei. At around 5:20, Yi Chen had already arrived outside the high-speed train station waiting. Before that, Yi Chen had already sent a message to Lui Wei. Lui Wei also replied to Yi Chen, "Okay, brother-in-law, thank you, brother-in-law." Yi Chen did not reply to Lui Wei. After waiting for about 10 minutes, Lu Yana finally came out of the high-speed railway station. Yi Chen stood in front of the passenger seat of the Benz and leaned against it. Lu Yana saw the Benz parked on the right side of the high-speed railway station and Yi Chen at a glance. A few million Benzes are not available to everyone, and most of the cars waiting in front of the high-speed railway station are taxis, so among all the cars, Yi Chen's Benz stands out. Lui Wei skipped over to Yi Chen's side and shouted at him in a clear voice, "Brother-in-law." Yi Chen only gave her a faint look and nodded softly. After helping her carry her luggage into the car, he sat back in the driver's seat, and at this time Lui Wei was already sitting in the passenger seat. Seeing Yi Chen get in the car, she said sweetly, "Brother-in-law, let's go home." This sounded like they were really going home together. Chapter 154, Lui Wei was dumbfounded. Yi Chen did not reply to her, but silently acted as the driver. However, Lui Wei did not think so, and kept talking. When Lui Wei asked about the baby, Yi Chen replied a few words. Finally, Yi Chen said helplessly, "Sorry, I'm driving." Lui Wei then shut up and boredly picked up her phone and played with it. "Oh, brother-in-law, I haven't had a chance to buy gifts for everyone yet. I'm really sorry. When we meet up later. When I have time, I'll definitely buy everyone gifts, especially the little ones." "Yi Chen, no need to buy them. I'll take you to an apartment of a friend of mine in a while. There's everything there, so you can stay there for now." Lui Wei was momentarily dumbfounded when she heard Yi Chen say this. "Brother-in-law, aren't we going back to your place?" Yi Chen didn't even give her a second glance. "No, I don't think it's convenient." After saying that, he didn't say anything else. The atmosphere was also extremely awkward at this point, and neither of them said another word. Lui Wei had originally thought that Yi Chen would do the decent thing and take her to his home to stay, but unexpectedly, Yi Chen's comment about it not being convenient was a direct rejection. It left her speechless. What else could Lui Wei say? The host had already said it wasn't convenient, so was she supposed to go to the other person's home with a smile on her face? Moreover, Yi Chen had already arranged for her to stay in an apartment, which was a very reasonable arrangement. Yi Chen spoke at this time. "Don't worry, the apartment has everything. Didn't you say you wanted to come to my father-in-law's restaurant to learn things? The apartment is in that building, very convenient, and you don't have to worry about the rent, your brother-in-law has already paid for you." Yi Chen also rarely spoke, explaining that in fact, he was doing this so that Lui Wei would not have any worries and would not have any excuses to refuse his arrangement. "That's right, you don't even have to pay the rent, and the location is upstairs, so what kind of excuse could you possibly come up with?" Lui Wei, however, spoke in a somewhat hesitant tone, "But I'm afraid to be alone." "Yi Chen, don't worry about that. The property manager of the building is my friend, and the security guards there patrol the building every once in a while, so you don't have to worry. The security conditions of that building are very good." But Lui Wei's meaning was not this, and Yi Chen naturally knew it as well. Was she just trying to get Yi Chen to keep her company or take her to his place? No way. Yi Chen thought to himself, he didn't want Lui Wei to bother his family, because he knew that Lui Wei's motives were impure, so he resolutely would not let her stay in his home. Along the way, the two were silent. Soon, Yi Chen drove to the parking lot in front of the door of the Lu Fuji restaurant. Yi Chen parked directly in the parking lot in front of the door, took the luggage out of the car, and took Lui Wei directly into the restaurant to find an empty seat and sit down. At this time, Lu's father was busy greeting customers in the restaurant. Since Yi Chen's wedding, everyone in Xiangcheng has heard of Lu Fuji's reputation, so everyone is here to try it out. They have hardly stopped from morning tea to late-night snacks, and everyone is busy. Lu's father hurried over and greeted Yi Chen and Lui Wei. "Vicky is here?" Lui Wei politely replied, "I'm here, Uncle Lu." Lu's father nodded. I have already handed you over to your brother-in-law Yichen. You just follow Yichen for a while. If you have any questions, just ask your brother-in-law directly. He is familiar with Xiangcheng. He turned his head and said to Yichen, Yichen, I'm leaving Weiwei in your hands. Yichen, I know, Dad. I've already found an apartment for her, right upstairs. You know that I know the property manager of this building, so I just made a phone call and found it. Lu's father also nodded with satisfaction. It's good to know people. Lu Weiwei's face, however, revealed a hint of impatience and disgust. If it weren't for the fact that she wanted to get close to Yichen, she would never have come to help out at such a restaurant. You have to understand, she's a dancer all year round. Yichen glanced sideways at the slight movement on Lu Weiwei's face, and couldn't help but despise her in his heart. He wondered what she really wanted, and why she was so disgusted that she had to come here. Whether it was for Lu Yana or for herself, Yichen couldn't figure out what she was doing, except that her motives were impure. Yichen immediately called Manager Lu of the property management company. Hey, Manager Lu, we've arrived at Lu Fuji. Can you come over for a bit? Manager Lu was naturally more than happy. Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. In about 5 minutes, Manager Lu did indeed appear at Lu Fuji, but just as he was at the door, he gasped for breath and rested for 10 seconds. Then he pretended to be calm, puffed up his chest and walked into Lu Fuji to find Yichen. Mr. Yi, I'm really sorry to keep you waiting. Lu Weiwei couldn't help but become suspicious when she saw that Manager Lu in front of her was actually so respectful to Yichen. Sure enough, people with ulterior motives think differently. What others don't notice, she immediately grasped the key point. Yichen nodded. This is Miss Lu, she is the one who wants to live here, you lead the way. Manager Lu didn't say anything else. Mr. Yi, Miss Lu, please. They walked through the lobby of the building, took the internal elevator, and pressed the 20th floor. They walked a few meters to the right after getting off the elevator, and stopped in front of an apartment numbered 2018. Mr. Yi, Miss Lu, this is it. If there's nothing else, I'll go first. Yichen said, I still need to buy diapers for my child. If there's anything you want to say, you can tell Miss Lu. I'll go first. Yichen did not want to stay with Lu Weiwei, so he found an excuse and left. Sister, brother-in-law. Before Lu Weiwei could finish speaking, Yichen had already turned around and slipped away. Seeing Manager Lu left behind, her face instantly fell. Manager Lu was also an old hand, and seeing her like this, naturally she understood. However, the person in front of him was also someone Mr. Yi had asked him to receive, and he dared not be rude. After all, she was a relative of Mr. Ye's, and if she mentioned her bad smile to Mr. Yi, that would not be good. So, he had to receive her, even though he was scared stiff. So, he took out his business card. Miss Lu, here is my card. If you have any problems in the future, remember to call me, and I can help you solve them, as best as I can. Lu Weiwei, however, didn't even look at him properly, and naturally didn't take the business card that Manager Lu had handed her. Manager Lu's hands hung there awkwardly, not knowing whether to put them down or not, so he had to say again, don't worry, you are a relative of our owner Mr. Yi, and naturally our property management side also attaches great importance to you. What? Chapter 155 Yichen is the owner of the building. Lu Weiwei seemed unable to believe what she had heard. The property manager just said that Yichen is the owner of the building. Why has she never heard her cousin Lu Yina's family mention this before? What on earth is going on? While Lu Weiwei was in a daze, Manager Lu's business card was handed over again, instantly pulling her thoughts back. She immediately took Manager Lu's business card, looked at it again and again, and asked even more, you said that my brother-in-law is the owner of the building? Manager Lu was taken aback by her words. Could it be that Mr. Ye's relatives didn't know? Sure enough, the rich are all so low-key. It's just that, will Mr. Yi blame her for being so talkative and selling him out? It's just that he saw Lu Yi come over with luggage, and they probably didn't have much contact, so he probably doesn't know. But after this incident with Lu Yi, he also knows how to avoid suspicion and knows that he can't disclose the owner's information like this in the future. Manager Lu did not take her up on her offer, but changed the subject. Mr. Yi has entrusted you to us, so naturally we will take good care of you. If you are missing anything or need anything, you can tell me. I will do what I can to help you, and I can also run errands for you. I am the property manager of a building, and I am running errands for a woman. Do you think it is easy for me? It's all about survival, isn't it? I have an old parent to support and a young child to raise. I have to rely on my salary alone, so how can I not work hard? Manager Lu is crying inside too. Lu Weiwei just heard something else, that the property manager is avoiding his own problem. So her brother-in-law must be the owner of this building. She just doesn't know if he is the only owner or if there are multiple owners. But with things like this, just ask around and you'll find out. The only thing that is certain now is that her brother-in-law is the owner of this building, for sure. You have to know how rich you have to be to own a building in Fragrant City. And this is the commercial center of the city. Naturally, the land prices are not cheap. Just one building is worth a lot of money. It's not tens of billions, but it's also worth billions. In the past, I only knew that Yi Chen got rich from the stock market. He said that he has shares in a maternal and child company worth 2 to 3 billion, and earns hundreds of millions of dollars every year. But I didn't know that Yi Chen is also the owner of the building. I guess Lu Yina's parents didn't know either, otherwise they wouldn't have heard a thing. It seems that this brother-in-law is still hiding pretty deep. He's actually so rich. Lu Wei's heart was excited, and indeed it was a bargain. Lu Wei was even more tempted. After entering the apartment, she took a look and was quite satisfied with the place, which was also clean. Manager Lu came to the apartment as soon as he received Yi Chen's call. He bought new bedding and took it to the dry cleaners. Lu Wei told Manager Lu, "It's not bad here, you can go now." Hearing this, Manager Lu quickly slipped away, afraid that if he stayed any longer, he would be in danger. If she got some unnecessary information out of him, he would be in trouble. However, Lu Wei didn't take property manager Lu seriously. In her eyes, people without any use were not worth her time. After Yi Chen left the building, he went to his father-in-law's restaurant and helped serve the customers. It was now past 6 p.m., and more customers were coming in for dinner. Lu's father also sent a message to Lu Wei, asking her to come down for dinner. Seeing this, Yi Chen immediately left. He didn't want to have too much contact with women like Lu Wei. Yi Chen told his father-in-law that he wanted to go home for dinner, so naturally Lu's father couldn't stop Yi Chen. When he got home, Yi Chen found that dinner was still not ready. Lu's mother asked Yi Chen, "Why did you come back so late? Have you taken care of Yi Wei's affairs?" Yi Chen replied, "Mom, don't worry, I've already found her an apartment. It's right above Lu Fuji, so it'll be much more convenient for her to go there." Lu's mother was also satisfied, saying, "That's good, that's good." After all, if this were her place, she would probably let Lu Yi move in too, but this is her daughter and son-in-law's home, so naturally it's not her place to make the decision. Lu's mother was also very satisfied with Yi Chen's arrangement. "Hurry up and go upstairs and tell Nana to come down to eat, it's all ready." Yi Chen, "Okay." When he got upstairs, Yi Chen pushed open the door and saw only Lu Yina, who was busy framing the paintings from their wedding day on the floor of the room. And now, Lu Yina was arranging them, one by one. Hearing the door open behind her, she turned around and saw Yi Chen open the door and come in, and said in surprise, "Honey, you're back?" Yi Chen also walked over to Lu Yina with a smile on his face. "Well, what are you doing? You can see that. Look at our previous paintings, they have now dried, and I'm busy hanging them up." Lu Yina happily replied. "Yi Chen, let's eat first, and I'll help you in a bit, honey." Lu Yina gave Yi Chen a hug, "Okay." After dinner, Yi Chen went to entertain the baby. The nannies had already filled the tub and were ready to bathe the baby. Yi Chen held his little cotton-padded little darling in his arms and was going to bathe the baby, but when he thought about the fact that he was the father and the little darling was a baby girl, he handed her over to Yi Mama and went to bathe his eldest son. Dabeo is so strong with these little arms and legs, he shouldn't still be unable to roll over, right? Yi Chen asked with a frown, wondering if it was because he was too lazy to move. Yi Mama also laughed, "It's possible. Little sweetie has such small arms and legs, and they're so flabby, so she definitely can't roll over yet." "I agree, Dabeo is lazy." Yi Chen laughed evilly, "Then let's encourage Dabeo a bit and let him roll over and have a look." Everyone laughed. In fact, it's also possible that the baby is just too lazy. Sometimes if you wear too many clothes in winter, it's also possible that they won't be able to roll over. But it's already summer now, so there's no problem with that. So everyone agreed that Dabeo was too lazy to turn over. After the bath, Dabeo was dressed, and Yi Chen naturally received his system cash reward. Yi Chen laid Dabeo flat on the bed, but Dabeo was eating his chubby little hands, smacking them together, eating with relish. Yi Chen smiled and said to Dabeo, "Dabeo, are your hands delicious? Are your hands delicious or is milk delicious?" When Dabao heard the word milk, his eyes immediately focused on Yi Chen, and the movement of his mouth stopped. At this time, Auntie Zhang handed Yi Chen a bottle of milk. Yi Chen took it and placed it in front of Dabao and waved it. Dabao reached out to Yi Chen with his saliva-covered hand, trying to grab the bottle. Yi Chen immediately pulled the bottle back. Seeing this, Dabao's eyes immediately became sad and helpless. Chapter 156, Encourage Dabeo to roll over. Yi Chen saw this and immediately shushed him with a finger. "Dabeo, don't cry, if you cry, you won't get to eat." Dabeo's tears were about to fall, but they were held back by Yi Chen's words, and his face turned red in an instant. Yi Chen and the people present saw Dabeo's aggrieved look and thought he was both funny and pitiful. Dabeo turned his head and looked at Yi Mama, who smiled and shook her head. Dabeo looked at Lu's mother again. Lu's mother was breastfeeding her younger sister. Auntie Jean was holding Erbao and waiting for Lu Yina to come and breastfeed him. Debeo saw that Erbo was getting milk to drink, but he himself wasn't, and his little mouth instantly pouted. He was about to cry, but he didn't dare to, as if he had understood Yi Chen's words. Daddy is so bad, he's not giving me any milk. The helpless little eyes made Yi Chen's heart melt. Yi Chen said again, okay, Debeo, you are the big brother now, you can't be so lazy, you have to set a good example for your younger brother and sister, okay? At this time, Lu Yana also came into the room and heard Yi Chen's words. She couldn't help but smile and came to Yi Chen and Debeo. She followed Yi Chen's lead and encouraged Debao, be a good boy. If you can roll over, mommy will feed you milk. Bao, who was next to her, seemed to hear Lu Yana's words, and babbled in protest, as if saying, Mommy, it's my turn to drink mommy's milk. I can't let my brother drink it. Everyone laughed along with them, and the scene was really heartwarming. Debao saw that his mother said she would feed him milk, and indeed, his small, sad eyes immediately became determined. He just clenched his fists tightly, raised his feet high, leaned sideways, put one foot on the other side, and mumbled something in his mouth. Yi Chen and everyone else were cheering for him. Almost there, come on, Debeo. Mommy is all yours. Erbo also stopped crying and looked askance at his big brother. Lu Yana couldn't help but laugh when she heard what everyone else was saying. But seeing that Debeo was trying so hard, she was also happy for him and shouted at him, Debeo, you're almost there. Yi Chen also immediately took out his phone and filmed the scene. He saw Debeo raise his hand above his head and give a strong push with his little fat waist, and he actually managed to roll over. Debeo had also completed the first rollover of his life. Wow, Debeo is awesome. Indeed, it's still mom who gives the power. Hearing his mom feed him milk, Debeo was full of strength. That's right, it's mommy. Mommy is the best. After Debao rolled over, he quickly shook his limbs on the bed like a turtle, and mumbled in his mouth, as if celebrating for himself. Yi Chen looked at the video on his phone and suddenly remembered that he hadn't filmed the video of Bao turning over before. I haven't filmed Bao turning over yet, I have to film it in a moment, to keep a memory. Lu Yana quickly picked up Bao and held him in her arms, but as soon as Debeo saw that his mother had picked up Bao, he immediately started to cry, his little eyes pleading as he reached out his hands towards Lu Yana. Lu Yana laughed angrily, Debeo, mommy just wants to hold Bao and turn him over for mommy too, don't worry, mommy will feed you. It turned out that he was worried that mommy wouldn't feed him, his little eyes really looked so sad. Of course, he has turned over, and mommy has promised to feed him. Lu Yana also placed Bao on the bed and said to him, Bao, you turn over for mommy too, and let daddy take a video, okay? Bao looked at his mother with sparkling eyes, and Lu Yana was the whole point of his gaze. As if he understood what Lu Yana said, he grunted twice and quickly turned over. Luckily, Yi Chen had the camera rolling, or else he would have missed the second baby turning over. At that moment, the system beeped. Congratulations, host, for interacting closely with your baby. You have been awarded 1 million yuan. Another wave of cash rewards has arrived. Awesome. Seeing that Yi Chen had finished filming, Lu Yana picked up her eldest son and said to her second son, Mommy has promised your brother that next time it will be your turn, okay? Erbo is also very understanding and reaches out to Auntie Zhang for a hug. Everyone laughs. Debeo, on the other hand, snuggles into Lu Yana's arms and doesn't want to let go. Holding Debeo in her arms, Lu Yana turns her back to the others and starts to breastfeed. Everyone's laughter also attracted Ye's father's attention, but he didn't often enter the baby's room, because Lu Yana would be there feeding the baby, so he called Ye's mother, what's wrong? What happened? I heard you laughing so loudly. Ye's mother smiled and said, honey, Bao can roll over now, let Qinshin send you a video in a bit, you can have a look. After a few words, Ye's father was waiting downstairs with his phone. Soon, Yi Chen's video was sent to the family group. Ye's father had not blocked the family group, so as soon as Yi Chen sent the message, his phone rang. Ye's father immediately opened the phone and watched the video of his first and second grandchildren turning over. He was overwhelmed with emotion. His grandchildren were so wonderful. Yi Chen returned to the bedroom, where Lu Yana had already arranged the paintings, which only needed to be framed. So, the first thing Yi Chen did when he returned to the room was to mount the paintings that Lu Yana had arranged. When Lu Yana returned to the room, Yi Chen had already mounted 3 paintings. Lu Yana walked over to Yi Chen, gently embraced him from behind, and rested her head on his back. Honey. Yi Chen turned around and embraced Lu Yana, you go take a shower first, leave the hard work to your husband. Lu Yana kissed Yi Chen, honey, you've worked hard. Yi Chen also kissed Lu Yana and let her into the bathroom, I'll find your clothes. Lu Yana also went in without a worry, leaving the door open. Hubby, why did you only bring me a bathrobe? You can wear it for now. Yi Chen grinned evilly. I'm going to do it anyway in a bit, hee. Yi Chen had finished painting the picture and was washing his hands, waiting for Lu Yana to come out. Lu Yana was very uncomfortable wearing just a bathrobe. When Lu Yana came out, Yi Chen made a quick move and pushed her into the bathroom. Chapter 157, Scumbag. Gu Yingying moved her things from the company back to her apartment, and then went to Demingfa's to buy a lot of dry food, planning to stay at home for a few days and live a life of drunken bliss. After buying the snacks, she came back, took a shower, and fell asleep. She only slept for half an hour before she was woken up by her phone ringing. In the haze, she saw Yi Hui had sent her a deathly message. Yingying, what are you doing? Go online quickly, you're missing 5 rows. Hurry! Go online quickly. He sent her a dozen WeChat messages. But she was still angry after being woken up in her sleep. She sent Yi Hui a message, unemployed, no mood. When Yi Hui received the message, he was also stunned. He was still in college, and although he knew that graduation would be the same as unemployment, he had never experienced the pain of unemployment, so he didn't really feel it. Unemployment is not a breakup, so what's there to be afraid of? Get online. Gu Yingying glanced at the message and rolled her eyes. Yi Hui is really something. He said he was not in the mood, but he still came to play games with her. Why don't you go find your sister or whatever? Gu Yingying sent a message in return. You mean the one we're queued up with? I didn't add her at all, she's so lame, why would I add her? I guess we won't be queued up together again. Gu Yingying's eyes lit up when she saw the message from Yi Hui. No way, she didn't add the green tea girl? That's not right, is it? Could it be that Yi Hui is the kind of guy Li Xin was talking about? When it came to Li Xin, Gu Yingying suddenly remembered him. Gu Yingying still didn't want to play. I said I didn't want to play, I was sleeping, I'll play when I wake up. Oh, okay then. Yi Hui didn't want to force Gu Yingying to play 5 rows with him, so he had to find someone else. After Gu Yingying saw that there were no more messages on WeChat, she tossed and turned on the bed, but she couldn't fall asleep. All she could think about was the mysterious person named Li Xin. As for Li Xin, all Gu Yingying knew was his name and his damn bass voice. It really had a feeling of making people pregnant when they listened to it, and she even missed it. In the game interface, she saw Yi Hui was in the game, but Li Xin was not online. Gu Yingying opened Li Xin's game page and looked at it bored. When she clicked on Li Xin's personal homepage, Gu Yingying had looked at it before and knew that Li Xin was very poor. Apart from the few skins he had received for free, there were no other skins. So Gu Yingying felt that the quality of the technology had really nothing to do with the skins. So, Gu Yingying simply gave all the skins to Li Xin. Gu Yingying is not the type to lack money either. She used to have savings, but she won't spend money recklessly if she can't get it back. She feels that money should be spent wisely, just as she is doing now, and that some people are worth spending money on. After all, her family has run out of money, and she can only spend what she earns. After sending the skin, Gu Yingying's heart also felt relieved. She immediately opened the takeaway app and ordered herself a dinner. Before long, Li Xin also went online. Gu Yingying naturally also saw that Li Xin had gone online. And Li Xin probably also saw the skin that Gu Yingying had sent, so he sent another in-app message. Thanks for the rich woman skin. Thanks, rich woman. Gu Yingying, want to form a couple? Li Xin reviewed it after a while and said to Yingying, not yet, I want to take my sister out to play, do you want to come? Yingying was upset that Li Xin didn't want to form a CP with her. No, I haven't eaten yet, I'll go eat first. Yingying hadn't eaten yet, and the takeaway should have arrived by now. Okay, I'll hang out with my sister first, and then I'll queue with you later. After Li Xin finished saying this, he disappeared and went to queue up with his sister. Sister? Is it really his sister, or is it someone else's sister? Gu Yingying was like Sherlock Holmes, immediately opening up Li Xin's intimate relationships and discovering that Li Xin had hidden this, but seeing that his apprentice had a name there, Deep Autumn, Cho. Autumn leaves tell of autumn? Deep Autumn, Cho? Is there a connection between them? The key is the word autumn? Could it be his sister? But that's not right, if it's his sister, why would they both use the word autumn? Could it be his girlfriend? If it really is, then I'm finished. I've fallen into a pit. Gu Yingying immediately turned on the friend watch, fortunately it was still possible to watch. Li Xin probably regretted turning on the friend watch as well. But it's also possible that it was his girlfriend who asked him to turn it on. So Gu Yingying immediately opened Li Xin's spectator view. At the beginning, it was displayed that Xinxiu and Li Xin were indeed in a relationship. Although Li Xin had closed it, Xinjie and Li Xin had opened it. It's confirmed. Li Xin does have a girlfriend. Scumbag. At this time, Gu Yingying was only worried about her money. She had just sent thousands of dollars worth of skin out, but now that she saw the result, she was only worried about her money. Now she finally understands what her parents said, people you know well are the ones you can trust, and you should be careful of people you don't know online. As it turned out, she had indeed suffered for not listening to her parents. Now that she thinks about it, Yi Hui had only agreed to help the green tea girl increase her score, and he hadn't even added her as a friend. Although Yi Hui was a bit insensitive, he wasn't the kind of guy who would hit on girls all over the place. Although Gu Yingying now regrets it, she is a girl after all, and she can't let go of her pride. As for Li Xin, she just thinks she's blind. So when Yi Hui came out of the game and saw that Gu Yingying was online, he logged out of the queue and sent Gu Yingying a message. Hey! I thought you were going to sleep. Gu Yingying didn't really want to talk to him right now. You woke me up, I couldn't sleep, so I got up to eat. Yi Hui, no way, it's so late, you're just eating now. I'll go to Chen Xiaowan's shop after I eat and play games with him. Chen Xiaowan has already graduated and is helping out at his family's business. I'll stop chatting now, the takeaway's here. Gu Yingying sent this message and then threw her phone aside to calm herself down. Yi Hui was holding the phone, stunned, and said, "What the hell is Gu Yingying up to? She hasn't wanted to talk to me all day." Chen Xiaowan also teased, "I heard from Li Lizzie today that in the afternoon, did you guys queue up with a girl, and then Gu Yingying also dragged a guy to queue up together, and they played the game well?" Yi Hui, yeah. That guy was pretty good, and I was thinking of asking her to drag that guy to queue up together again. Chen Xiaowan, you. He was also speechless. This Yi Hui is really a straight man. Chapter 158, Your Luck in Love Has Come. Although he has never been in love, he understands the matters of men and women. He asks Yi Hui, what do you feel about Gu Yingying? Yi Hui thinks for a moment and says, she plays the game well, is a good partner for gaining points, and is nice, too. Chen Xiaowan thinks to himself, it's pointless to ask, you idiot. Chen Xiaowan, you were the one who brought that woman here, weren't you? Yi Hui, without thinking, yeah, at the beginning, that girl kept pestering me to take her on, because I messed up in the last game and wanted to get out quickly to take care of Gu Yingying. Then that girl kept pestering me, and Gu Yingying probably didn't want to get screwed over, so after playing one game with her, she didn't want to play with me anymore. Then she went off to find a guy to play with, and then I dragged Li Lizzie along for the next 5 games. But let me tell you, and I'm not saying this about the girl, but she really is a pain. If it weren't for the 4 of us, I don't think she'd even want to play. Chen Xiaonan analyzed, is it possible that Gu Yingying just didn't want you to queue with that girl, so she deliberately dragged a guy over to annoy you, but you didn't react, so now she doesn't want to talk to you? Could she have a crush on you? Yi Hui was stunned by Chen Xiaonan's words, and then burst out laughing. How could that be? Right. How is that possible? You have to know that my relationship with Gu Yingying is just a fake relationship between a man and a woman. How is that possible? Could it be that Gu Yingying is addicted to acting? Does she really think of herself as my girlfriend? But before, when I saw her double row with another guy, it really made me feel a bit uncomfortable. Chen Xiaowan analyzed it like an emotional counselor. Just think about it, when you're lined up with a girl and she goes back with a guy, what else could she be feeling but anger towards you? So, I think she definitely has a crush on you. Yi Hui also shook his head as he listened, but he couldn't help but think more about it in his heart. Although he is a straight man, he is not a brainless person. He also watches TV dramas, but he just has a lot on his mind. Now that Chen Xiaowan has said this, he is also more cautious. Yi Hui, oh, who cares? Chen Xiaonan also gave Yi Hui a gentle pat on the shoulder and said in a deep tone, kid, your luck in love is coming. Yi Hui rolled his eyes at Chen Xiaonan. I'm still in college, so I'm not thinking about that for now, and just now Gu Yingying told me that she lost her job today, that's why she doesn't want to deal with me. Chen Xiaonan also shook his head. In his eyes, none of this was that simple. Yi Hui waited online for Gu Yingying for about 30 minutes, and then sent her another message, are you done eating? Come to Shangfen. Shangfen. You deadbeat straight guy, all you can think about is Shangfen. Gu Yingying was furious at Yi Hui's Shangfen comment. Perhaps it was because she had just learned about Li Xin, but now Gu Yingying couldn't muster any interest in anything. We'll double up, okay if we don't queue with anyone else? Yi Hui walked out of Chen Zhao's shop and sent a message to Gu Yingying. Gu Yingying saw the message and couldn't help but think to herself, could it be that this straight man has finally come to his senses? Although she felt a little better about Li Xin, she wasn't overly saddened, because she was just worried about her money. It was like watching a live broadcast, and when she was done rewarding the male anchor who was her type, she realized that he was a deadbeat. However, her feelings towards Yi Hui were different. When she saw him double-teaming with the green tea girl, she would inexplicably feel uneasy and angry. Forget it, seeing that he keeps urging her to level up, she might as well do it, since she has nothing else to do. Okay. Gu Yingying replied to Yi Hui and went online again. When she went online, she saw that Li Xin was still playing games with his sister. Yi Hui quickly pulled Gu Yingying into the queue and sent a message, hey, isn't your friend Li Xin online? Pull him in to get points together. Gu Yingying took a deep breath. This was really bringing up the wrong pot. He was playing with his girlfriend. Without thinking, Gu Yingying replied. Yi Hui muttered to himself, so he has a girlfriend. Chen Xiaonan, who had just walked out the door, heard this and came up to him. What? Who has a girlfriend? Yingying probably didn't know that there was a smile on the corner of his mouth, and said, the guy who was lined up with Yingying last time. Chen Xiaonan looked at his happy face and couldn't help but laugh. What are you happy about when someone else has a girlfriend? It's not like you have a girlfriend. Yingying froze for a moment, and he didn't even realize that he was smiling. Could it be that I really have feelings for Yingying? Yingying didn't have time to think much about it, and he pushed Chen Xiuan with his elbow, then walked back into the store and found a seat to play games with Yingying. In the game, after Yingying reached level 4, he gave up the lead to Yingying, and several times he helped Yingying block skills and even helped her take revenge. After playing for a few rounds, Yingying was so amused that she couldn't stop smiling. Little did he know that on the other end of the phone, it was Chen Xiuan who was encouraging Yingying. However, Yingying also felt good about it. At least Yingying would call him Brother Yingying in the game. For some reason, when Yingying was called Brother Yingying by the green tea girl before, he didn't feel any emotional fluctuations, but when Yingying called him, an unconscious smile hung on his face. Chen Xiaonan, as an observer, could see the interaction between the two clearly. Yingying, I think there's something between you two. Yingying just responded with a perfunctory sure. Chen Xiaonan said, why don't you form a couple with her and see what happens? See if she agrees? If she agrees, it'll prove that she has feelings for you too, right? Yingying gave him a look and said, okay, I'll give it a try. After the game was over, Yingying sent a message to Yingying. Yingying, why don't we form a couple? Yingying was also taken aback when she saw the message. Although Yingying was good at playing games, forming a couple was a very serious matter. The message she had posted on the public screen before was just to find a wild king to take her for a while, and to annoy Yingying a bit. She hadn't really taken it seriously. I guess Li Xian never thought about forming a CP with her, after all, he already has a CP. At this moment, Yingying received an invitation from Li Xian. This really excited Yingying. Yingying immediately replied to Yingying, yes. Form a CP now. Chapter 159, Lui Wei's first step plan. Yingying ignored Li Xian's invitation and withdrew to form a CP with Yingying. After opening a room, she invited Yingying and also invited Li Xian to join them. Li Xian immediately replied, Yingying, why did it take you so long to invite me? Yingying, no, I was just dealing with some things. Yingying naturally didn't tell him that she had formed a couple with Yingying. The three of them quickly chose their heroes and entered the game page. Naturally, Li Xian also saw the couple icon level 1 for both Yingying and Yingying. Li Xian didn't say a word the entire game. Yingying, driven by Chen Xiuan, naturally played the role of a dutiful boyfriend. After playing a game, Li Xian excused himself for something and left the game. Yingying was on the other end of the phone, grinning from ear to ear as he said, Chen Xiuan, I just feel that right now, I'm so happy inside. You really are something. Chen Xiuan shook her head, look at you, and you still say you're not interested in Yingying? Yingying laughed, maybe, but I still feel pretty good about seeing Li Xian get so angry and leave. Chen Xiuan let out a sigh, and went back to her own business. You don't know how lucky you are. It all depends on whether you can seize this opportunity. Yingying didn't take it to heart. After all, their relationship was already understood tacitly, and being able to save face in front of Li Xian was worth it. In fact, Yingying was thinking, nonsense, of course I want to please Yingying. After all, my parents have already accepted her as their girlfriend, and it's up to her whether or not we have money. This kid, he has no idea of the situation he is in. Yingying finished her last hand and went offline. At this time, Yingying's WeChat message came, have you lost your job? Yingying replied, so what if I have? Yingying, so you have time to meet with my parents, right? Aren't you unemployed and therefore very free? Yingying. Yingying, 10,000 for a meeting, you can buy whatever you want, how's that? Yingying was also inspired. Although she didn't lack money, she hadn't reached the point where she could buy whatever she wanted, like Lu Yana. Can I buy whatever I want? Yingying excitedly sent a message. Yingying was also stunned, probably not more than 1 million is fine. His parents had told him that they would double the money if he bought a gift for his girlfriend. Yingying's parents had good intentions, because they knew their son too well. Without such a little nudge, Yingying would probably never have bought a gift. And girls naturally like surprises. Yingying was delighted. She had liked a designer bag for a long time, and it cost tens of thousands of yuan. She had never been able to afford it, and had originally wanted to trick her father into buying it with her. But if Yingying said he wanted to buy it for her, then it would be fine if she had to meet his parents. Yingying immediately excitedly replied, sure. I'm free tomorrow. Yingying probably didn't expect Yingying to agree so quickly. Holding the phone, he replied, then I'll ask my parents tomorrow, let's have lunch together tomorrow at noon. The two made a date. And Yi Chen. Honey, I think you can go get the baby's vaccinations tomorrow. I think the oldest one is fine now. Didn't the doctor say that as long as they don't poop, they can get the vaccinations? Yi-chan asked Lu Yana. Lu Yana, sure, I'll make an appointment for the babies tomorrow morning now. We have to go back to school in a couple of days, so we're kind of pressed for time. We probably need to buy some school supplies tomorrow or something. Sure, let's go together after the physical checkup with the babies tomorrow, said Yi-chan. Okay. After Lu Yana said that, she also took out her phone and made an appointment for the babies. Early the next morning, Yi-chan, Lu Yana and their family went with the babies to get their vaccinations. Every time they went out, Yi-chan and his entourage were the focus of attention. The babies were also the most beautiful ones in the crowd. When they arrived at the community, the people there naturally discussed it among themselves. My goodness! Are these triplets? Who is so lucky to have triplets? Look at the clothes they are wearing, this family must be rich or noble. Of course, without some money, it would be really hard to raise 3 children. Look at this family, they even hired a few nannies to take care of the babies. It really is a skilled job to be reborn. However, Yi-chan's family did not pay attention to other people's gossip and waited on the sidelines. When it was time for the vaccination, they were also asked to go to the experience room first and come back later. After the experience, the 3 babies cried profusely when they got their vaccinations. It took a long time to calm them down. Perhaps they were afraid of getting injections when they grew up. After Yi-chan took the babies for their vaccinations, he received a corresponding cash reward from the system. When the babies went home, they probably fell asleep in the car because they had cried for a long time and were tired. It's good to have a caravan, but when driving in the city, you have to apply emergency brakes from time to time. Yi-chan naturally wouldn't let the babies sleep in the car, and they were all held by adults, which was safer. He, on the other hand, tried to drive as slowly as possible to avoid the greater inertia caused by emergency braking. On the other side, Louis Wei also arrived at the restaurant early in the morning and waited. Her mind was also very clear. First, she had to grasp everything in the restaurant, whether it was people or things. The first thing she had to do was gain her father's trust and let him know that she wasn't just there for fun. Once she had everything under control and everyone in the restaurant was listening to her, Yi-chen would see her abilities and have a good impression of her, and then everything would be fine. If Yi-chen failed, then she would ruin the restaurant. If she couldn't have it, no one else could. Louis is really a ruthless person. In theory, Lu Yana and her family have not offended her, and it was her own father who was unmotivated and did not want to take over Lao Fukqi in the first place, so it has nothing to do with Lu's father. Lao Fukqi has reached its current scale because of the hard work of Lu's father, step by step. If anyone is to blame, it is her father, who has nothing to do with Lu Yana's family. Moreover, Louis Wei said she wanted to come and help out, and Lu's father let her come without saying a word. Although he was a little dissatisfied, he let her come after all. Lu's father thought that it was good to have an extra person helping his daughter, and never imagined that Louis Wei had this heart. Not only did she target his hard work, but she also had her eyes on his son-in-law. But Louis Wei was only after the money in Yi-chen's pocket. Especially after learning that Yi-chen is the owner of Huachang Building, her desire in her heart became even stronger. Among the people she knows, no one is richer than Yi-chen. When she stood in the lobby of Lao Fukqi, she secretly decided in her heart that she must take over the rights to the entire restaurant. Back home, Lu's father has basically already delegated power to relatives to take charge, so even if she can't control that side, she must control the entire restaurant on this side of Shangcheng. This is her first step plan. Chapter 160, Encountering an Old Classmate. Yi-chen and Lu Yana went shopping for school supplies together. Lu Yana followed Yi-chen to Huachang Building, and in front of the building's entrance, she encountered 2 people who were both unfamiliar and familiar. The woman was called Hu Qingrong, and the man was called Bai Yuhao. Hu Qingrong was a classmate of Lu Yana's, and when they were in school, she looked down on Lu Yana because she was prettier than she was. The man also went to the same school and chased after Lu Yana. After being rejected several times, the man went abroad to study, and now they have run into each other here, which shows that the man has returned from studying abroad. Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao are from quite wealthy families, and it is not clear why the 2 of them got together. Lu Yana looked at the 2 of them and shrank towards Yi-chen. Yi-chen came out today in the Mercedes-Benz that Lu Yana bought before the wedding, which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, while Bai Yuhao was driving a Porsche worth millions. Yi-chen also noticed something was wrong with Lu Yana, so he asked, "Honey, what's wrong?" Lu Yana whispered to Yi-chen about the relationship between the 2 men and her, and Yi-chen immediately understood. These 2 men obviously had a grudge against Lu Yana, and as her husband, naturally he would help his wife solve her problems. Hu Qingrong saw Yi-chen driving a car worth hundreds of thousands of yuan, but she didn't take Yi-chen seriously. The 2 of them took the initiative to walk hand in hand to Yi-chen and Lu Yana, and greeted them with a somewhat disdainful tone. "Yo? Isn't this Xiangda's school beauty, Lu Yana?" Lu Yana also replied with some embarrassment, Hu Qingrong, I didn't expect to run into you here. On the school's news board, I heard the news of your marriage, and I thought someone had posted a fake message. In fact, she had already seen Lu Yina's wedding scene long ago. In her eyes, anyone who doesn't hold a banquet at a 7-star restaurant or above is a poor person. And now seeing Yi Chen's car, which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, is even more proof. Lu Yina's husband is just a poor man with a little money. Lu Yana quickly introduced the two, this is my husband, Yi Chen, he also goes to our school, I don't know if you've seen him at school. Hu Qingrong, however, did not give her face, and simply replied, sorry, I haven't seen him. She proudly pulled Bai Yuhao up a step and introduced him, this is my boyfriend, Bai Yuhao, I guess you've all met him? While saying this, Hu Qingrong's words were directed at Lu Yana. And Bai Yuhao's eyes were always on Lu Yana, never moving away. Lu Yana had given birth, and her breasts had naturally grown a lot in size, and Bai Yuhao's eyes were even more blatantly looking at Lu Yana, completely forgetting that Lu Yana was already someone else's wife. Yi Chen looked at the man in front of him and saw that he was looking at his wife with such a lewd expression, so he couldn't help but protect Lu Yana behind him. Hu Qingrong naturally also sensed the difference in her boyfriend, which directly made her half dead with anger. She also forcefully pulled Bai Yuhao back and fiercely shook off his hand. Bai Yuhao finally came to his senses. In his eyes, Lu Yana was the woman he loved most, while Hu Qingrong was just someone he met through a family-arranged blind date. He didn't have much feeling for her, but she was just a way to relieve his loneliness. Yi Chen naturally saw Bai Yuhao's admiration for Lu Yana in his eyes, and his anger in his eyes increased even more. How dare you covet my wife Yi Chen? I'll fix you. Although he knew that Lu Yana would never betray him, and he had confidence in that, Yi Chen also had that confidence, but he would not allow others to look at his wife with such a lewd expression, and still do it in front of his face, so blatantly. He simply didn't take him seriously. Hu Qingrong quickly put her expression in order, smiled impishly but without a smile, and said to Lu Yana, tonight, we're having a party, all of us from the department. Did Gu Yingying notify you? If not, then I'll officially notify you now. The location of the party will depend on the number of people, so you have to bring your husband. Lu Yana was a little embarrassed. She was a bit introverted and even a little socially anxious. She would rather not participate in these gatherings if she could help it. Hu Qingrong glanced at Yi Chen's hundreds of thousands of dollars car and then at Lu Yana's hesitant expression, and then sneered, don't tell me you can't come. Even if you didn't graduate with us, you were classmates for 3 years. If you, the school flower at Xiangda, don't show up, then our gathering obviously has no meaning. Hu Qingrong said in a strange voice with a sharp, thin voice. You didn't even invite us old classmates to your wedding, so you can't not come to this party. Your husband should bring you out to let everyone get to know you better. After Hu Qingrong finished speaking, she gave Bai Yuhao a smug look. Although Bai Yuhao had Lu Yana in his heart, at this time he still stood on Hu Qingrong's side. After all, Lu Yana was married with children. Lu Yana seemed a little overwhelmed, but I have children at home to take care of. You guys have fun. However, Hu Qingrong had no intention of letting Lu Yana off the hook. I heard rumors that your family is so rich, and your husband bought you jewelry worth hundreds of millions of yuan. If you really don't have any money and your husband can't bring it, then just tell people directly, why would you spread these rumors to mislead others? Yi Chen said coldly at this time, we will go to the party, but we are busy right now, so please help yourselves. He didn't want to deal with this anymore, saying that he was a deadbeat pretending to be rich, but his wife was not. Tonight, he would let everyone see clearly. He, Lu Yana's husband, Yi Chen, was not a pretentious rich man, but a deadbeat. Yi Chen took Lu Yana and just left. Hu Qingrong looked at the hurriedly departing backs of Yi Chen and Lu Yana, and felt that the two of them had just fled in shame at the words they had heard. Humph. At tonight's party, let's see what you can pull off. You'll get it. Hu Qingrong's face revealed a sinister look, and she turned to look at Bai Yuhao beside her, unable to help but snort. Don't let me see you looking at Lu Yana like that again. I'm breaking up with you. Bai Yuhao naturally did not dare offend her, because she was now his major benefactor. In fact, Bai Yuhao's family is also all show and no substance, and now that he is with Hu Qingrong, he has also obtained financing from her family, and the company has been able to survive. Bai Yuhao opened the car door for Hu Qingrong, invited her to get in, and then got into the driver's seat himself, acting as her chauffeur. Chapter 161 Love Me, Love My Dog. Yi Chen took Lu Yana to the mall, where there was a new single department store. This was a gift from the system, and Yi Chen was the second largest shareholder in the new single department store. Yi Chen had never been here before, so he came here to take a look and buy school supplies. But it seems that they are not just buying school supplies, but also things to go to the party. Lu Yana is walking while being held by Yi Chen, looking at Yi Chen's profile. Lu Yana's heart is full of a sense of security. Her husband is really too manly. Lu Yana finds that she is increasingly admiring her husband. Yichen took Lu Yana to a place to rest in the building, and the two sat down. Lu Yana blushed and said, "Actually, we didn't have to go. I'm not very familiar with them. I just don't know why this Hu Qingrong is always picking on me. It's been like this since freshman year." Yichen also laughed, laughing at Lu Yana for being so naive. "She's jealous. You're much prettier than her, and she's not convinced, so she's looking for faults with you everywhere." Lu Yana nodded. She knew she was pretty, but she just couldn't figure it out. She hadn't offended Hu Qingrong, and she hadn't even spoken to her. She was still the first time she'd seen how jealousy could make a woman's face so ugly. Suddenly, Lu Yana thought of something and exclaimed, "That's right. Hu Qingrong just said she also invited Yingying. I wonder what happened to Yingying. If she gets the message, she will definitely call me first, but it's already noon and she hasn't called me yet. I don't know what happened to her." Lu Yana said, quickly pulled out her phone and called Gu Yingying. Fortunately, Gu Yingying didn't turn off her phone before going to bed, otherwise Lu Yana would have had to come looking for her. "Hello, who is this?" A lazy voice came from the phone. Lu Yana naturally recognized it, and realized that Gu Yingying was still sleeping. She was instantly angry and couldn't help but yell, "Yingying, why are you still sleeping? Don't you have to go to work?" Gu Yingying's sleepiness was instantly awakened. What's wrong? What's the matter? If I were still at work, I probably wouldn't have been able to answer your call. Lu Yana continued, "Hu Qingrong, do you remember?" Gu Yingying replied, "Hu Qingrong? You do? What is that bitch up to now?" Obviously, Gu Yingying also knew Hu Qingrong's style. "Lu Yana, haven't you read WeChat?" Gu Yingying rubbed her eyes. "Sister, I just got up now, where would I have time to read the news? What is she up to now?" Gu Yingying simply asked, "Forget it, I don't even bother reading the messages." Lu Yana sighed. "Tonight, she's throwing a party for people from our department. She invited us to go together. I just ran into her at Huachang building, along with Bai Yuhao. So Bai Yuhao is her boyfriend now. You also know the relationship between Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao and I, so Yi Chen and I had a bit of a disagreement with them at the door, and Yi Chen was also angered by them, so he agreed to go to the party for me. Now, I don't care, you have to go together too." No way. These two extremes have actually gotten together? My god. This is truly a wonder of the world. The only thing that is now giving Gu Yingying a headache is, oh my god. I hate going to these parties. I have to go to a party tonight, and I don't even have a battle suit. I'm going crazy. Lu Yana glanced at Yi Chen, who instantly understood and shouted over the phone, "Yingying, we're at the new single-brand mall in Huachang building. Come over, buy whatever you like, I'll pay." Upon hearing Yi Chen's words, Gu Yingying instantly perked up, her eyes shining. "Are you serious?" "I'm serious. As long as you like it, I'll pay for it. Yi Chen, promise. Wait for me, I'll be there in 15 minutes. After Gu Yingying finished speaking, she immediately hung up the phone. 15 minutes later, Gu Yingying appeared at the entrance of the Xindian store, panting heavily. My god. It was exactly 15 minutes, not a minute more or less. She didn't even put on makeup and just threw on some clothes. Anyway, she was going to go shopping in a bit. After all, she knew that Yi Chen could afford to buy jewelry worth 1 billion yuan, so she naturally didn't need to be polite with him, and she would only spend 1 million or 2 at most. That was nothing for Yi Chen, just a bone thrown from between his teeth. Lu Yana looked at the panting Gu Yingying and burst out laughing. Yingying, you don't have to work so hard, do you? Gu Yingying waved her hands. Don't talk, let's start shopping. I'm afraid Yi Chen will change his mind. Yi Chen said, don't worry, I won't change my mind. Have you eaten yet? Gu Yingying covered her stomach and said with a sigh, I haven't eaten yet. I have to say, Yi Chen, you are really considerate. You even thought of the fact that I haven't eaten yet. No wonder Nana married you. Nana, I really envy you. You found such a good husband. Lu Yana laughed and said, you will find someone who loves you too. Let's go get something to eat first, or maybe we can go to my dad's place. You haven't eaten there yet, have you? Seeing his wife make friends with someone else, Yi Chen just smiled. He was genuinely happy for his wife to have a good friend with whom she could speak her mind, a true friend who didn't engage in so much backstabbing and could be honest with her. It turned out to be his wife's best friend, so naturally Yi Chen wouldn't treat her badly. Love me, love my dog, I guess that's what it means. Gu Yingying listened to Lu Yana's words and made up her mind, okay, let's go to your father's restaurant for dinner. The two of them held hands and really left Yi Chen on the sidelines. Chapter 162, A Cold Sweat. The three of them went to Lu Yana's father's restaurant for dinner. When they arrived at the restaurant's entrance, they bumped into Lu Wei standing at the front desk. Yi Chen and Lu Yana were fine with it, but Gu Yingying was puzzled. Why was this woman here? Shouldn't she be in Yun City? What's going on? Is she trying to stir up trouble? At Nana's wedding, I already saw that this Lu Wei wanted to plot something against Yi Chen. Could this be the beginning of her actions? No, absolutely not. This sinister woman will not be allowed to ruin her best friend's marriage. As she thought this, Gu Yingying looked at Lui Wei with a very unkind expression. Yi Chen didn't really care, although he knew that this woman was no ordinary person, but he didn't know that this woman was eyeing him in Lu's father's restaurant. Lui Wei walked up from the front desk with a friendly smile on her face and said to Yi Chen, "Brother-in-law, why are you here?" She didn't care about the others, and when Gu Yingying saw how she couldn't wait to fawn over Yi Chen, she wanted to vomit. She really is a bitch. Yi Chen said indifferently, "I came shopping with your sister in Yingying, and I stopped by here to bring Yingying for a meal and see how the food at our own restaurant tastes." Upon hearing this, Lui Wei looked at Lu Yana and Gu Yingying. "You two sisters are here too." "Gu Yingying, you're calling me sister again. Nana and I have been friends since the beginning of the year, and I heard from Nana that you're only 2 months younger than her. Who's older and who's younger is obvious just by comparing." Although Gu Yingying didn't really care much about the matter of titles, she was extremely unhappy when she heard these green tea calls. Lu Yana also enthusiastically stepped forward and introduced Lui Wei, saying, "This is my cousin Lui Wei, and she is only one character different from me." After that, she looked at Gu Yingying again. "This is my good friend Gu Yingying, you should have met at my wedding, right?" Gu Yingying snorted in her heart and replied, "Yes, we met at the wedding. Nana also mentioned her cousin to me before." "Hello." Lui Wei also smiled and replied to Gu Yingying, "Hello, I'm very happy to meet you, Yingying sister. You are here for dinner, right? Let me arrange a private room for us. There is one on the 3rd floor. Uncle Air is out and is not here." Lu Yana smiled and said, "My father actually went out? Then I'll trouble you, sister." Lu Yana, who had originally thought about greeting her father, could only give up after hearing Lui Wei's words. Lui Wei asked the waiter in the restaurant to take Yi Chen and the others to the private room on the 3rd floor, while she continued to stay here to receive guests. She had asked her father for this front desk position herself. Her father had originally just told her to feel free to do whatever she wanted in the restaurant, so he didn't stop her. Lu Yana and Yi Chen and the others quickly ordered and ate their meals. Gu Yingying even burped after she finished eating. "Wow! Nana, the taste of your restaurant is great." Lu Yana's face was also very proud when she heard this. "Of course, my family has been in the catering business for over 100 years, and it has been improving all this time. Together, we have been improving the taste of these dishes and the dishes themselves, and they have been improved over the centuries. Naturally, the taste is extraordinary. And, we have also hired some foreign chefs now. My father wants to diversify the restaurant, I think." Gu Yingying nodded, "So I can eat Western food here?" Lu Yana, "Yes, you can, but the main focus is still on Chinese food, because there are also a lot of foreigners here." Gu Yingying nodded, "That's right, after all, it is a metropolis, and diversity is good." Lu Yana, "Yes, even if there are signature dishes, the way a restaurant is run is also very important." Gu Yingying shook her head, "Never mind, I don't understand anyway. But your father only has one daughter, so won't the restaurant be handed over to you in the future? You have to learn from Uncle Lu." Lu Yana smiled and looked at Yi Chen. "My husband said he would help me. He told me to fulfill my dreams." Gu Yingying followed Lu Yana's eyes and looked at Yi Chen, and couldn't help but praise him. "He really is a dutiful husband, even taking care of the family business for you." Yi Chen said, "My wife should do whatever she wants, she shouldn't be held back by family matters. As her husband, if she has a dream, how could I not help her?" Lu Yana blushed and said, "It's already past 1 o'clock, let's hurry and go shopping. I don't know when the party will start, probably around 6 or 7. Before that, I want to go home and see the 3 babies." Yi Chen said, "Let's go then." The 3 of them came here to eat, and since they were family, naturally they didn't have to pay. When they were at the door, they saw Lui Wei. Yi Chen and the others also greeted Lui Wei when they passed the front desk. Lu Yana also politely asked, "We're going to the mall later, do you want to come?" Lu Yana quickly replied, "Sure." Yi Chen and Gu Yingying were taken aback, and even Lu Yana paused for a moment. She had only asked as a polite gesture, and had no intention of going to the mall with Lu Yana. Gu Yingying nudged Lu Yana, but didn't say anything. Lu Yana also felt that she had answered a bit hastily, and at the same time, she sensed the displeasure on the faces of the 3 of them. She laughed and said, "I was just joking with you. I have things to do here, so I won't go shopping with you. I'll invite you again when I'm free." "Nonsense, we don't want to go shopping with you. After all, we don't know you well. Wouldn't it be embarrassing if we went together against our will?" This is what Gu Yingying was thinking. If she had really followed, she would have been a million times unwilling. Luckily, she didn't follow, so she's smart. Lui Wei smiled as she watched the 3 of them leave, her veins bulging in her hands. She also likes to go shopping, and she doesn't look at price tags when buying things, just buying whatever she wants. But now, she can't do anything. Why should she? She has to smile and welcome customers here, while Lu Yina can live the life she wants without a care in the world. When she thought about this, Lu Yiwei's eyes were full of sinister intent. At this moment, Yichen suddenly turned and looked over. She was so scared that she broke out in a cold sweat. She immediately raised an iconic smile. However, although that scene was short-lived, it was captured by Yichen. Although the system's people skills can detect that Lu Yiwei is not a good person, it cannot detect what she is thinking. Therefore, Yichen also muttered in his heart. What does this scheming woman want to do? Chapter 163, You must do enough window dressing. For this scheming woman Lu Yiwei, I must make sure that someone from the Protech security company keeps an eye on her. She absolutely must not be allowed to cause any trouble here. Yi Chen and the others returned to the new single department store. This large department store covered several floors of the building and had every brand you could imagine. Yi Chen and the others went directly to the 5th floor clothing area, buying clothes first and then other things. Yi Chen had already decided that today was a day of shopping sprees and was prepared to pay for Lu Yina and Gu Yingying. However, as they were about to step into the entrance of the shopping mall, Gu Yingying suddenly thought of something. Oh yes, when you go to the party, aren't you going in pairs? Many people in our department are in pairs, so will I become your third wheel? Lu Yina laughed. What else can I do? You're the one who's not serious about finding a boyfriend. If you have a boyfriend, you can bring him along too. Gu Yingying snorted. You're just bullying me, a single dog, right? Then everyone else must look down on me too. To be honest, I'm not bad looking, so why doesn't anyone like me? Lu Yina was also amused by her. Someone does like you, but you just scare them off. Didn't a guy ask you out before? But then you took him to a boutique to look at bags costing tens of thousands of dollars and jewelry costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. He hadn't even graduated from university, so where would he get that kind of money to buy you gifts worth tens of thousands of dollars? Gu Yingying admitted that she had indeed been asked out by a guy before, but the guy wasn't her type, so she just took the guy along to scare him off. But unexpectedly, the guy even told someone that she worshipped money. At the time, she also found it funny. Her father could still afford to buy her a bag costing tens of thousands of dollars. What kind of worship is that? Her family was already rich, so why would they need to worship your money? So at the time, she didn't explain too much to people about this, because she didn't care to explain. Later, she became what she is now, and no one cares. After all, people's words can be terrible. One rumor spreads to 10, and 10 to 100. Gu Yingying didn't want to talk about the past anymore, and took out her phone to check. Hu Qingrong had sent a message to the group, saying that they were meeting at the Tingli Hotel at 7 p.m. Tingli Hotel? Isn't that my hotel? Yi Chen thought to himself. Gu Yingying continued, have you forgotten? I still have a backup boyfriend. Lu Yina hadn't told Yi Chen about Yi Hui and Gu Yingying, and even after hearing this, Yi Chen only frowned. Backup boyfriend? Are women like that nowadays? Do they need a backup boyfriend? However, Yi Chen didn't believe that Gu Yingying was such a playful woman. Lu Yina said, I haven't told Yi Chen about your affair with Yi Hui yet. I wonder how things are going with him. Gu Yingying just laughed. I thought you had already told Yi Chen. Let's put it this way, Yi Chen, you must never tell your aunt and uncle. Yi Hui wanted to get money from the family, and then by chance, I became his fake girlfriend. I just pretended in front of his parents, and I didn't have to do anything else. Of course, I was paid for it. You must never tell your aunt and uncle, or Yi Hui will kill me. Gu Yingying was worried that the truth would come out, but she still chose to believe in Yi Chen's character. Lu Yina, however, said at this time, don't listen to Yingying's nonsense. I think Yingying and Yi Hui are pretty good together. It's good for us to match them up. Besides, Yingying has a crush on Yi Hui. She said she was his fake girlfriend, but when I saw you playing games with Yi Hui, I saw that Yi Hui looked at you with a different kind of look than he does at other men. Yi Chen also shook his head. Yi Hui is a straight guy. We grew up together since we were kids. If you have a crush on him, you have to make it clear, otherwise he might not know what you're thinking. Gu Yingying saw that the two were talking about her as if she had to be with Yi Hui, so she said, oh, no. I don't have a crush on him. He's just good at playing games, and that's about it. Let's talk about it later. It's not that I don't have a good impression of him, but as a boyfriend, there's still something missing. Lu Yina also couldn't do anything about her. In the past, when men chased her, she didn't want them, but now it's good, she has to take the initiative. Who let her package herself like a tomboy and become an insulator for men? But in matters of the heart, she can't force it either. It depends on what the two of them really think. After all, a forced relationship is not sweet. Lu Yina could only let the two of them get to know each other better and see what happens. Why don't you ask Yi Hui to come? Lu Yina asked tentatively. In fact, when Gu Yingying mentioned Yi Hui, she had the same idea. Then ask him to see if he'll come. I don't know if he's free. Gu Yingying was texting something on her phone while muttering to herself. Soon, Yihui received a message from Yingying. Yihui, there's a class reunion tonight, are you free to come? Yi-chun and your sister-in-law will be there too, why don't you come and pretend to be my boyfriend? Yihui sent a message back, aren't I your favorite boyfriend? By the way, didn't you say you wanted to meet my parents? Luckily, I forgot about meeting my parents. Yingying had indeed forgotten about the whole thing, but she refused to admit that she had forgotten. You didn't call me, and you're telling me off? You obviously forgot. Forget it, you're free these days, right? Yingying, yes, you remember to let me know in advance, and agree on a place to meet, I'll just go directly, is that okay? Yihui, that's fine, you come meet my parents, I'll go meet your classmates, that's fair. Seeing that Yihui had agreed to her request, Yingying told Lu Yana and Yi Chen, Yihui has agreed to come, I'll send him the address later and tell him to be there at 7 o'clock. Should he prepare some clothes or something? Lu Yana asked. Right, you can't go to a reunion like this one dressed too shabbily, so hurry up and tell him to come over and buy some clothes. Yingying naturally understood what kind of reunion Hu Qingrong was throwing, and what it meant, nothing more than a chance to brag about how rich her family was. So the appearance had to be perfect. Chapter 164, Spend It. Yingying sent Yihui another WeChat message, I'm with your brother and the others on the 5th floor of the new single department store in Huachang building, buying things. Come over too. Yingying thought about it later and added, your brother Yi Chen said he'll pay for the whole bill today. As soon as he read this, Yihui jumped out of bed. 20 minutes. No, 15 minutes, wait for me, I'll be right there, you guys go ahead and look around. Yihui was also thinking some bad thoughts in his heart. Sure enough, about 15 minutes later, Yihui arrived. Brother, sister-in-law. Yingying. Yihui greeted everyone. At this time, Yi Chen and the others were in a brand store, selecting clothes. Yihui's arrival quickly joined them. They had not started spending yet, and were trying on clothes. There were clothes for both men and women, as well as clothes, bags, and accessories, so they could mix and match and take their time. At this moment, a dozen men in formal attire walked in and walked up to Yi Chen and the others, and they started introducing themselves directly. Hello, I am the general manager of the Xindan department store, Liang Mao. May I ask if you are Mr. Yi Chen? Yi Chen naturally knew what he was here for. After all, he had a stake in the Xindan department store. He guessed that it was also the manager of Huachang building who had greeted Liang Mao and said that he was here, so he came looking for him. However, he didn't want his family to know that this place was his property, so Yi Chen gave him a wink. Liang Mao looked at Yi Chen and then at Lu Yana and the others, and his mind started racing. Oh, I see, recently our mall has also been doing surprise promotions to give consumers a surprise. And as the 99th customer of the day, you will get a free bill for everything you spend in our mall. Yingying also heard the point at once. What? Free unlimited items. Yes, today is the last day, you are really very lucky. Yingying naturally also understands what it means to have free unlimited items. Even if you could take the entire mall home with you, it would be fine. But one should not go too far, or one will easily offend people, so one should stop when appropriate. At first, Yingying just wanted to buy a few things for the party here, but now she has been given such a lucky opportunity, how could she possibly pass it up? Thank you so much, General Manager Li. You're welcome. This is also your good fortune. We are here to notify you. This is my business card. If you show it at the checkout, your bill will be waived. Yi Chen looked at the general manager in front of him and nodded in satisfaction at what he had done. Neither Yi Chen nor Lu Yana showed much surprise or excitement about the free bill. Yi Chen also just thought that the manager in front of him was good and had good judgment. Seeing the satisfied look in his boss's eyes, Liang Mao naturally knew that he had done the right thing. The group of shopping mall executives standing behind Liang Mao naturally didn't dare to act impulsively without the manager's instructions. Liang Mao saw that his purpose had been achieved, so he said, if there's nothing else, we'll be going now, so as not to disturb your enjoyment. Yi Chen, oh, yes, thank you, General Manager Li. You're welcome. We'll be going now. Under the leadership of Liang Mao, a dozen men in formal attire followed suit. In fact, behind the scenes, Liang Mao was sweating profusely. Fortunately, he reacted quickly, or else he would have lost his job. As the saying goes, accompanying the king is like accompanying a tiger. Who knows what the people in power around you are thinking? So always remind yourself to think before you speak. No matter what you do or say, always think twice before you act. After manager Liang Mao left, Yingying excitedly took the clothes she had just set her eyes on and said to the saleswoman with a flourish, this, all need to be medium size, no need to try, wrap them all up for me. Yingying didn't care if you got a free item or whatever, and nowadays, you don't need to spend money to buy things. So don't think about it, just take it if you like it. From head to toe, buy everything. Yingying is now completely carefree, and she asks the salesperson to pack whatever she likes. In less than 10 minutes, Yihui already has more than 20 shopping bags in her hands. It can be said that this is the craziest shopping spree of her life so far. Lu Yana, on the other hand, is much more cautious. Even if she likes something, she still wants to try it on to see if it looks good, otherwise she will just buy it to fill her closet and never wear it. She would rather have nothing than something bad, and every item was carefully selected, so they were all high quality. She also advised Gu Yingying not to be so reckless. But Gu Yingying felt that it wasn't like it was her own money, so she didn't mind. If the clothes didn't fit her in the future, they might fit her mother, and she believed her own judgment anyway. As a result, after the group had finished shopping on the 5th floor, Yihui had 50 or 60 shopping bags in his hands, while Yichen only had a dozen or so. Of course, Yihui had some of the 50 or 60 shopping bags, at least 10 of them belonged to him. Yihui was also taken aback by Gu Yingying. Gu Yingying, have you had enough? All this adds up to over 1,000,000 yuan, and you're still coming? Gu Yingying did not agree. 1,000,000 is not much, is it? How can a shopping mall not be able to give away even 1,000,000? Right, Yichen. Yichen smiled. Don't worry about buying. Today is about buying with a happy heart. If the mall doesn't give you a free bill, I will pay for it for you. Just buy. When women go shopping, they dream of buying things without looking at the price list. And now, General Manager Li Yangmao has let these two women, Lu Yana and them, experience it. It has to be said, this Li Yangmao really knows how to get along with people. Gu Yingying heard Yi Chen's words and raised her head and snorted. You heard it, didn't you? Yi Hui's original intention was just to remind Gu Yingying not to go too far, but since his older brother Yi Chen had said so, he didn't want to say anything more. However, at the same time, it also made Ji Hui realize that once Gu Yingying this woman goes crazy, there's no controlling her. If I go shopping with her in the future, do I need to prepare more money? This thought suddenly popped into his head, and it shocked Yi Hui. Damn it! Why did I have such a thought? Yi Hui quickly stopped the thoughts in his mind, took out his phone, took pictures of all the shopping lists, and then took a selfie of his pitiful appearance holding 50 or 60 shopping bags. He sent all these photos to the family group, and Yi Hui just wanted to type a message to his parents to explain that he had encountered good fortune today. But just when he had typed half of the message, he suddenly received a message saying that the money had arrived. He opened it and saw. Goodness! 2,000,000 yuan. Then he quickly returned to the family group, where his father had posted a screenshot of the transfer, along with a message saying, go spend it. If you need more, just ask Dad. Yi Hui quickly deleted the half-finished message and quickly replied, received. Thanks, Dad. At first, he did plan to do this. He had only thought that buying clothes would cost just 100,000 yuan, but he never expected to encounter a shopping mall promotion or something, and suddenly get a free bill of almost 1,000,000 yuan. And now, his father had directly transferred 2,000,000 yuan to him. Awesome! Chapter 165, A Reward Bank Black Card. With his father's most direct support, Yi Hui was more than happy to act as a human shopping cart. The four of them shopped the entire 5th floor together, and during the time, they put some bags back in the car. When Yi Hui's car was about to be full, Gu Yingying stopped. It can be said that today was the most enjoyable shopping experience she has had in the past 20-odd years of her life. It was soon past 5 in the afternoon, and the group had shopped for nearly 5 hours. Lu Yana said to everyone, we're almost done, right? We've already gotten nearly 3,000,000 off at this mall. Luckily we didn't buy jewelry or anything, or it would have been close to 10,000,000. Gu Yingying said, the mall is so good, we can't be so ungrateful, right? It's not bad to get a few million off. Yes, we can't be so excessive. Lu Yana agreed wholeheartedly. Yichen looked at his wife and her best friend and couldn't help but smile. Indeed, people with the same values can get along and become good friends. Of course, these millions of dollars are just a drop in the bucket for a new single department store with annual revenue of tens of billions. Lu Yana was also anxious to go home to see her child, and quietly said to Yichen, I think I have to go back and feed the baby. Although I just pumped milk during dinner at Lao Fu Qi, it's been almost 5 hours now, and Lu Yana's milk is already starting to come in. Yichen then said to the two of them, we'll go home first, and you guys hurry home and get ready too. This gathering is just between friends, so there's no need to dress up too formally, just be casual. Let's meet up at the Tingli Hotel in a bit. Yi Hui and Gu Yingying nodded. It was almost 5 o'clock now, and they really should go home, take a shower, put on some makeup, and it would be about the right time. The four of them parted ways in the parking lot outside the building and went home separately. While driving, Yi Chen's system rang. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing a special task. The host is rewarded with a black card from the parallel bank, which contains 1 billion in cash. So far, the host has completed 10 special orders. As long as one more special order is triggered, the system can be successfully upgraded, and the rewards will also be upgraded. Yi Chen was driving and was shocked when he heard this sentence from the system. Upgrade the system? 1 billion? A one-time reward of 1 billion? This is really unprecedented. In the past, it has always been 100,000, 1 million, or 10 million. Of course, except for some fixed assets, this time's cash reward is really the most. After returning home, Yichen also quickly took out his phone and checked the balance on his parallel bank card. It really was 1 billion. Yichen, in his excitement, transferred 100 million to Lu Yana, and 10 million to each of his parents and Lu Yana's parents. And when he transferred the money, he received a reward from the system. The host completed a task. The people who received Yichen's transfer sent him a big question mark in the family group. Yichen, what's going on? Why did you transfer money to us again? Yeah, I haven't spent the last 10 million yet. Lu Yana walked back from the baby's room and couldn't help but ask Yichen, honey, why did you transfer me 100 million? Yichen also smiled, money is meant to be spent. Besides, it's only right for a husband to earn money for his wife. And the money I've transferred to you is only a small portion of what I've earned. Don't worry, my dear, I'm not broke. If you see something you like, just tell me, I've got money. Lu Yana looked at the confident and domineering man in front of her and felt truly happy and warm inside. She walked over and gave Yichen a tight hug. After taking a shower together, Lu Yana wrapped herself in a bathrobe and walked into the walk-in closet. Yichen picked up the phone on the table and replied to his parents, from now on, every month, you will all receive the pocket money I transfer to you, so don't be too surprised. Lu's father, even though he was busy, was the first to reply, I just feel that 10 million a month, that's 120 million a year, which is really too much. Because his entire Lao Fuki net profit is only about 200 million, and sometimes the business is bad in a year, it is only a little over 100 million. And now, he doesn't have to do anything and he makes 10 million a month. Everyone else also came out to make comments. Mom Lu, Yichen, you save your own money, we are old and don't have anything to buy, don't give us your money. Yes mother, yes. 10 million a month is really too much. Your children are still young, save the money for them. We have enough money ourselves. Yes father, what kind of windfall did you get, boy? Yichen smiled and replied to everyone, I suddenly got a windfall of 1 billion, look. So he took a screenshot of the bank information on his phone and showed it to everyone. Everyone was stunned when they saw the picture. Yes father, boy, you're going places. Yes mother, what's this about 1 billion? You didn't do something bad, did you? Yichen, no, I didn't do anything bad. I invested in other things and earned it all legitimately. Yichen didn't explain to everyone where the money came from, just that they didn't need to worry, that it was earned legally. Seeing that Yichen didn't want to talk about it, everyone didn't ask any more questions. After all, they wanted to see their children succeed, and this was what they wanted to see as parents. Everyone readily accepted Yichen's monthly allowance of 10 million. In the end, Lu's father still sent a message with great emotion, good son-in-law, you're giving me this allowance, I don't even have the motivation to work anymore. Yichen also replied to Lu's father with a smile, Dad, if you like it, just do it, if you don't want to do it, I'll help you. Lu's father was quite moved when he saw Yichen reply to his message. Back in the old days, when they were back home, everyone else was laughing at him for only having an only daughter, and in the future, when his daughter gets married and leaves home, no one will support him, saying that his family line will end. However, he doesn't really care about things like whether his family line will end or not, he just cares about whether his daughter is doing well and whether he will have someone to support him in his old age. Now, seeing that his daughter has married so well and her son-in-law is so capable, his heart has finally been put at ease. Who says you have to have a son to have someone to support you in your old age? Look at yourself, having a daughter is no worse than having a few sons, right? Chapter 166 Jealousy. After finishing chatting with his family, Yichen walked into the cloakroom. After about 40 minutes, the two of them walked out. Lu Yana had a rosy complexion as she tidied her clothes. Honey, we're going to be late. Yichen didn't really care, the protagonist is always the last to appear, there's no rush. He found a casual suit in there and put it on. Yichen thought that there was no need to be so serious about a class reunion and wear a formal tuxedo, so he dressed more casually, but it wasn't really casual. This casual suit alone cost tens of thousands of dollars. Lu Yana had just wanted to wear a halter dress, but Yichen stopped her and made her take it off. Now she had put on a very conservative casual suit in the same color as Yichen's, making people feel like they were wearing matching outfits. Even though Lu Yana is dressed conservatively, her impressive figure is impossible to hide. Yichen is also very annoyed. He doesn't want his wife to be stared at by others. He also wants to know, is it too late to regret it? He doesn't want to bring his wife to the party and be stared at by others, because among their classmates, there are definitely many people who like his wife. Alas, who made his wife the school beauty queen? After the two of them had settled everything, it was already close to 7 o'clock. If they drove there now, it would probably take more than 10 minutes. Lu Yana is a very punctual person. Seeing that they were going to be late, she muttered to herself, "Hey, it shouldn't matter if we're a few minutes late, right?" Yi-chen also smiled, "Honey, don't be so nervous, a few minutes is definitely fine." Lu Yina was also attending her first team gathering like this, so naturally she was a little nervous. Yi-chen drove the car, carrying Lu Yina, and arrived at the front door of the Tingli 5-star hotel at 7:08. Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao were also just arriving now. They arrived a minute earlier than Yi-chen and the others, and directly parked the car in front of the hotel entrance. After the two of them parked the car, they walked hand in hand into the Tingli Hotel. At this moment, there was a burst of gasps of awe at the hotel entrance, and Hu Qingrong and Jayushi were also attracted over, turning to look at the hotel entrance. They saw a Cullinan parked at the hotel entrance. And this car was exactly Yi-chen in there. Lu Yana got out of the car from the passenger seat and shouted to the driver's seat, "Honey, I'll wait here for you." Yi-chen replied, "There's still a parking space here, let's park here." The security guard at the door saw a luxury car worth millions of yuan, and immediately directed him to park at the door. How dare he offend such a local tyrant car owner? He probably could never earn the money for this car in his life. Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao were also shocked by the scene in front of them. Bai Yuhao's eyes, however, were fixed directly on Lu Yana. At this moment, she had half of her hair up in a bun, wearing a modest suit, looking like a refined lady and a virtuous wife and mother. And when he glanced at Hu Qingrong next to him, he saw a high-tech look on her face. Although she wasn't ugly, her plastic surgery face was also very unpleasant. Hu Qingrong immediately noticed that Bai Yuhao looked at her with a hint of disgust in his eyes, so she nudged him with her hand and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" The disappointment in his eyes was obvious. What a pity, why couldn't he have tried a little harder in the beginning? He had heard that the school beauty was a rich and beautiful girl, and if he had tried a little harder, he might have been her husband. After all, he had already seen a post on the campus website saying that the school beauty's dowry this time was this Cullinan, but Hu Qingrong didn't know that, so now he was so surprised to see Yi-chen driving the Cullinan. After parking the car, Yi-chen also got out of the car. Yi-chen, dressed in casual clothes, instantly gained a lot of points. Even if he wasn't the most handsome, he was still more handsome and more charming than Bai Yuhao. This made Hu Qingrong, who was standing next to Bai Yuhao, look stunned. She had seen a lot of handsome guys, but it was still rare to see a pure and natural hunk like Yi-chen. The handsome guys who picked up girls in nightclubs were basically all retouched. And, the most crucial thing was that Bai Yuhao, who was by her side, looked disdainful in his eyes. If it weren't for the arrangement of her family, she probably wouldn't have been with Bai Yuhao. Fortunately, Bai Yuhao was quite considerate and attentive to her, otherwise she would have kicked him long ago. She was also very satisfied with Lu Yina's outfit today. Lu Yina is the school beauty queen, but she is the protagonist today, so she doesn't allow others to outshine her. Hu Qingrong, wearing a pink, tight-fitting dress, twisted her waist and gave a slight, contemptuous smile at the corner of her mouth. However, to outsiders, even if you have a thin waist, without those 2 lumps of flesh in your chest, no one will be attracted to you. What's more, Hu Qingrong was wearing tight clothes, and she was instantly outshined by Lu Yina. Hu Qingrong, who had no self-awareness, walked over with a twist in her waist and said provocatively, "Lu Yina, I really didn't expect it, you actually came." Hu Qingrong is a difficult person to deal with, and it's not like she hasn't been jealous of Lu Yina for a long time. And when she saw the size of Lu Yina's breasts when she turned around, she almost crushed her phone in her hands. She was really furious. She had lost so completely. Although Lu Yana looks a bit fat now, her figure is very well proportioned, and with her front and back, even if she is a bit fat, it is still very attractive. Hu Qingrong was also angry. She understood how men think, so it was no wonder that Bai Yuhao didn't bat an eye at her. Lu Yana took Yi-chen's hand and came up to her, smiling politely and saying, "I didn't expect it either, that you're only coming now." Hu Qingrong, however, directly and unabashedly rolled her eyes at Lu Yana. "This car can't be rented, right? This isn't the car I saw today." Hu Qingrong still remembered that when they were at Huachang Building, Yi-chen was driving a car worth only a few 100,000 yuan, but now he had directly brought a whole Range Rover, which was thousands of times better. So, of course, the car was borrowed. Bai Yuhao exclaimed in his heart, "Oh no. Hu Qingrong is really something, she didn't even read the post, and now she's about to make a fool of herself in front of so many people." He also quickly pulled Hu Qingrong back and whispered in her ear, that car was given to her by her father, who was a wealthy tycoon in Xiangqing with a net worth of over 1 billion. Hu Qingrong's face was very ugly after hearing Bai Yuhao's words. Lu Yana, however, smiled and said, "Bai Yuhao should have already said no, so I won't waste any more time. I came here to join the party, not to listen to you pry into my family's affairs." Saying this, she took Yi-chen by the hand and walked into the hotel, pressed the elevator button, and walked in. Throughout the whole process, Hu Qingrong didn't say another word, and watched helplessly as Yi-chen and Lu Yana walked in front of her. She was so angry that she stamped her foot. She was jealous. She was jealous. It turned out that Lu Yina not only looked beautiful, but her family was also so rich. Chapter 167, Exposing Lu Yina's True Colors. Hu Qingrong glanced at Lu Yina's dowry, which was also parked in front of the hotel, but her mind was thinking about something else. What's so great about having money in the family? Look at the husband you found for yourself, he's a deadbeat. Humph. I'll see how I can embarrass your husband's face at the party later and expose your husband's poor appearance. Let you lose face in front of so many classmates. Thinking about this, she raised an insidious smile and took Bai Yuhao's arm. Let's go too. Bai Yuhao naturally had no idea what Hu Qingrong was thinking at this time, but just from the sly smile on her face, he knew that nothing good was going on in Hu Qingrong's mind. Hu Qingrong forced Bai Yuhao to go with her. Bai Yuhao was very unwilling to be dragged away by her, but Hu Qingrong was saying, I really didn't realize it, but Lu Yina's husband is still a soft-bred man. In my opinion, Lu Yina's husband is just a bum. You have to cooperate with me to bring them down in a while. However, Bai Yuhao had heard some news from other people's mouths, saying that Yi Chen's family still had some money, and when they got married, Lu Yina also received a dowry of more than 5 million yuan from the Yi family. However, these were just hearsay and had not been verified. No way, I heard that Yi Chen's family also does business and is quite wealthy, right? Bai Yuhao reminded him. Hu Qingrong's eyes were full of disdain. I now suspect that all of this is news released by Lu Yina. Didn't it previously spread that Yi Junjia's company was going bankrupt? Then, Lu Yina is the school beauty queen, how could she admit that her husband's family is penniless? Isn't that slapping her in the face? Bai Yuhao thought for a moment and said, you have a point. Although I have also heard some news, I haven't seen it with my own eyes after all. Hu Qingrong's eyes were full of gloom. At that time, I must expose her true colors in front of so many classmates. Hu Qingrong stopped talking nonsense with Bai Yuhao and took him directly to another elevator. The party was to be held on the roof of the hotel, where there was a venue that could accommodate 1,000 people, but Hu Qingrong had booked the other side of the hotel, a small venue for 100 people. In this small venue, there is a glass sunroom with an area of about 50 to 60 square meters, and a banquet table with a circumference of 10 meters has been set up inside. Lu Yina's class only has less than 60 people, but she also expected her classmates to bring their partners, so she directly ordered a banquet table with a circumference of 10 meters. However, this time the gathering is in the form of a buffet, and the other side is full of buffet tableware and food samples. Everyone can choose according to their own tastes and take what they like. In fact, this is the best way, because if it really comes to the time to eat, ordering food is hard, and this way, the preferences of many people are satisfied. In this regard, Hu Qingrong did a good job. Almost all of Lu Yina's classmates had arrived, and Gu Yingying had followed Yi Hui. When Lu Yina walked slowly in, holding Yi Chen's hand, she instantly became the focus of everyone in the room. After all, she was the school beauty queen, and even if she was dressed in ordinary clothes, she could still attract everyone's attention. Lu Yina and Yi Chen are a handsome man and a beautiful woman. Everyone present let out a sigh and a sound of praise. Among these people, there were naturally those who had secretly loved Lu Yina. Oh my god! Is this the husband of our school flower? He looks quite handsome. Of course, you don't look at the woman standing next to him. She is the school flower of our university. I heard that the husband of the school flower is also in the same grade as us, and they took a break from school to go back and have a baby. Everyone knows about it, don't they? You're not just finding out now, are you? The baby is already a few months old, and the wedding was just a few days ago. But no one from our department was invited, just Gu Yingying. No way, so secretive? What does her husband do? You know, the school flower's husband has to be rich, right? I don't know, I heard that the school flower's family is quite wealthy, and for the sake of their daughter, they also opened a restaurant in our fragrant city. I know, I've even been to her family's restaurant to eat. It's in Huachang building, about 3,000 square meters on the 3rd floor. It's such a big place. And the food there is delicious. Worth every penny. I've been there too, and the fried eggs there are so good, I want to eat them again after I've had them once. Everyone kept talking about food. When Gu Yingying saw Lu Yina and Yi Chen, she quickly waved at them. Lu Yina and Yi Chen also walked over to their table, and several classmates greeted them along the way. Gu Yingying was eating while tidying up the space next to her that had been occupied by her clothes. Come sit here. I'll help you take up the space. Lu Yina sat down and couldn't help but laugh at Gu Yingying as she busily kept up with the food. Stop eating, if you keep eating Yi we won't be able to carry you, she said. Gu Yingying couldn't help but roll her eyes. Who asked him to carry me? Yi Hui looked at Gu Yingying, who was engrossed in her food, and frowned. You beg me to hug you and I won't even do it. Lu Yina shook her head as she looked at the two people in front of her, neither of whom looked at the other with any respect. Yi Chen said to Lu Yina, honey, what would you like to eat? I'll get it for you, you just sit back and relax. Lu Yana laughed and said, okay, then could you please get me some spaghetti and a steak? Yi Chen glanced at the line of people waiting for the steak and whispered, there are a lot of people in line here, so it may take a while. I'll see if I can order from the hotel and get you a better steak than these, which will be quicker. There were indeed a lot of people waiting for the steak, but Yi Chen simply didn't think that steak would be good, so he found a waiter and asked to order the best steak in the hotel restaurant for Lu Yana. Gu Yingying refused at this time. Yi Chen, you can't be so biased. I want one too. Yi Chen laughed and said, okay, then we'll have two. There was no choice. When his wife's best friend asked, he naturally had to take care of her. Yi Chen said to Lu Yana, I'll get you some snacks first, so you don't get hungry. So he went directly over to the snacks and got some for Lu Yana, then went to find a waiter to place the order. Chapter 168, What You Can't Get, You Have to Destroy. However, Yi Chen and their actions attracted Hu Qingrong's attention. After Yi Chen placed the order, Hu Qingrong directly intercepted the hotel waiter. Seeing the order Yi Chen placed, her face turned green in an instant. How dare he order the most expensive steak in the hotel? One serving costs more than 2,000. And Yi Chen ordered 2 servings at once. Although she is rich, the food at this party is not cheap. The whole party will cost more than 100,000 yuan, and she naturally won't let her classmates pay in order to show off her family's wealth. Looking at Lu Yana and the others, Hu Qingrong couldn't help sneer. Sure enough, they are from a small city and have never seen the world, even rubbing against a few thousand yuan steak here. In this regard, Lu Yana and the others are completely unaware. Yi Chen told the waiter that he had bought this bill separately and would have the waiter come over with the scanner to scan the code in a moment. However, Hu Qingrong only glanced at the bill and didn't even ask any questions. At this time, Gu Yingying whispered to Lu Yana, Nana, the guy who chased me before is here too, it's really fucking embarrassing. Yi Hui seemed to have heard it too, and he listened quietly with his ears pricked up. That Gu Yingying is actually being chased? This is shocking news. Gu Yingying and Lu Yana gathered together, and Lu Yana whispered, no way? Gu Yingying, really, I even saw him bring his girlfriend. Lu Yana, where? I haven't seen him a few times either, and I don't remember him. Lu Yana herself can't even remember her suitors. Even if they are from the same department, she has no memory at all for people who are not interested in her. Yi Chen, on the other hand, was different. When she arrived at school, she saw him helping a female classmate carry her luggage. Not only was he helpful, but he was also good-looking, so naturally, he made a good impression on Lu Demirin. Among so many people, Lu Demirin was only interested in Yi Chen, which is probably what others mean when they say, at first glance, I already know your child's name. Gu Yingying continued, there is a table between us, and his girlfriend is wearing a white dress and is snuggling up to him. Lu Yana glanced over secretly, it's okay, he finally found a girlfriend. Yes, he found a girlfriend right after graduation, which is not bad. Gu Yingying, I heard from someone that he became a full-time employee after completing an internship at a design company, so his monthly income is also 20,000 to 30,000 yuan, which is pretty good for a recent college graduate. Gu Yingying, I also hope that he is doing well, after all, he did like me. Lu Yana, so you don't hold a grudge against him for embarrassing you so much? He didn't stop talking bad about you at school. Gu Yingying doesn't agree, I also thank him for helping me avoid so many romantic advances. I never wanted to fall in love anyway. Ever since my first love, I've never felt that way again. Although she still can't understand why her last relationship ended without a trace, she has let go of the past. Lu Yana smiles, do you mean you don't want to fall in love, but just want to get married? As she said this, Lu Yana suddenly looked up at Yi Hui and saw that he was leaning over to eavesdrop on their conversation, so she also smiled at him. Yi Hui was almost scared to death by Lu Yana and quickly sat up straight. According to Lu Yana's intuition, Yi Hui could not possibly not have any feelings for Gu Yingying. Even if the two were in a contractual lover relationship, it was possible that they had feelings for each other during their time together. Gu Yingying was amused by Lu Yana's words, and following her gaze, she also glanced at Yi Hui's silly appearance sitting upright. Are you saying that I should marry Yi Hui? Lu Yana, why not? I think Yi Hui is not bad either. I have already asked around about him. Yi Chen's second uncle and second aunt are both quite good people, and Yi Hui is also quite good. Although he is a bit younger than you, looking at him like that, he shouldn't be the type of person who would go out and cheat on you. Gu Yingying pushed Lu Yana differently. What are you talking about? Oops, I'll stop talking. And she started playing with her phone. Since there were still people who hadn't arrived, they just started eating. The most exciting part of the event had yet to begin. In fact, behind Gu Yingying, the man who had chased after her was named Zhang Jiaxing. He had noticed Gu Yingying's every move from the very beginning. How could he easily let go of a woman he couldn't win over? If he can't have it, he wants to ruin it, at least that's what he used to do. The woman next to him is his colleague. They are both a regular employee and an intern, and it was the woman who took the initiative. The woman is not considered pretty, but she is considered delicate, and she won't lose face if she is taken out. The most important thing is that she has a very good figure, with a front to die for and a back to die for. On the first day they were together, the woman already moved in with him, and these few days have been the most comfortable for him. Someone cooks, someone cleans, and most importantly, the woman has a good figure and someone to comfort him at night. After graduation, Zhang Jiaxing finally felt the thrill of money. You have to know that his girlfriend also moved in with him to save rent, at least that's what he thought in his heart. However, he did not think that after the girl became a regular employee, her salary would be similar to his, and what he did not think at all was that the girl was with him for love. Probably because Zhang Jiaxing always wanted to show himself in front of Gu Yingying, he came here early and revealed his information. When Gu Yingying came, his news naturally reached Gu Yingying's ears. But he probably didn't expect that Gu Yingying didn't even take him seriously, and didn't care about his salary of a few tens of thousands of dollars, because Gu Yingying's own salary was not bad and her family was also wealthy. In that case, it was fortunate that Gu Yingying did not leak out her family's situation, otherwise Zhang Jiaxing would have pursued her relentlessly. He looked coldly at Gu Yingying and glanced at his girlfriend next to him. Although his girlfriend had a good figure, she still didn't look as good as Gu Yingying. So, when he stood up, he told his girlfriend, "I'm going to go meet some classmates. You wait here for me." Zhang Jiaxing's girlfriend nodded, "I don't know any of your classmates here. Hurry back, and when you come back, ask for a dessert for me." Zhang Jiaxing agreed and walked directly over to Gu Yingying. Chapter 169. Yi Chen is not a soft spending king. When Zhang Jiaxing walked over, Hu Qingrong also pulled by Yu Hao towards Lu Yana and the others. There were 2 empty seats opposite Lu Yana. After all, not everyone would dare sit at the same table as the school beauty, which was the position that attracted the attention of everyone in the room. Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao directly sat opposite Lu Yana. As soon as they sat down, Zhang Jiaxing walked over to Gu Yingying and patted her on the shoulder. Gu Yingying immediately turned her head, and a familiar but strange face came into view. She was so startled that she almost choked, and Yi Hui quickly handed her a tissue to wipe her mouth. Zhang Jiaxing looked at the young man in front of him and couldn't help but start looking up and down. Yi Hui also directly retorted, "I'm Yingying's boyfriend, what's wrong? Don't you know it's rude to look at people like that?" Zhang Jiaxing naturally felt that he had been a little rude too, so he politely apologized, "I'm sorry, I'm Yingying's classmate, I came over to say hello to her." Yi Hui had just overheard Gu Yingying and Lu Yana's conversation, and naturally knew that the man in front of him was the one who had previously pursued Gu Yingying and also tarnished her reputation. Even if he looks good, if his character is bad, he's no good. Yi Hui patted Gu Yingying on the back, and she came to her senses. She coughed twice and then turned her head to Zhang Jiaxing and said, "What's wrong? Do you need me for something?" Zhang Jiaxing said apologetically, "I came to apologize to you face to face. What happened before was my fault. I shouldn't have. I'm really sorry. I hope you can forgive me." Gu Yingying quickly waved her hand and said, "It's okay, I don't even remember it, you don't have to feel so guilty." Zhang Jiaxing was secretly pleased and asked, "Then can you add me as a WeChat friend again?" Yi Hui's hand movement also froze, and Lu Yana and Yi Chen also looked over. Gu Yingying also didn't expect that Zhang Jiaxing came over just to add her as a WeChat friend. Gu Yingying was embarrassed in front of so many people and didn't want to seem petty, so she said, "Why don't you add me to the group chat? I'll approve it." Zhang Jiaxing smiled and said, "I knew you were a generous person and wouldn't care about this. Thank you." Yi Hui was furious at this point. "Gu Yingying, is it okay to add another man's WeChat in front of your boyfriend?" Zhang Jiaxing rushed to his defense, "We're just classmates, and I already have a girlfriend. I won't bother you guys. She's just my girlfriend, not my wife." At least that's what Zhang Jiaxing thinks. Gu Yingying comes to the rescue. "Yes, it's normal for classmates to add each other as friends, right, boyfriend?" Yi Hui glances at Gu Yingying, turns away, and stops talking. Add it. Let you add it. It's not like they're really boyfriends, and I can't control you that much anyway. But why does it upset me so much in my heart?" Lu Yana glanced at Yi Hui, who was sulking, and then at Gu Yingying, who didn't seem to care, and couldn't help but laugh. These two clowns probably don't even know what the other one is thinking, do they? They're going to need a lot of help from us later. Gu Yingying and Zhang Jiaxing were busy adding friends, while Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao, who were sitting across from them, were watching the whole thing. She knew all about Zhang Jiaxing, too, but he was just a working-class guy, nothing to write home about. Now everyone has just entered society. Many people have already found a job for themselves during their senior year, so they won't be unemployed as soon as they graduate. After Hu Qingrong saw Zhang Jiaxing leave, she loudly asked Lu Yana, "Classmate Lu Yana, we also know that among the students here, you are probably the only one who has not yet graduated from university, right? And your husband is the same as you, right?" Lu Yana glanced at Yi Chen and replied, "Yes, we plan to go back to school as soon as the semester starts." I want to get my diploma and continue my studies. I won't give up my studies. Oh? I heard that you gave birth to triplets. How can your husband support the family if he didn't even graduate from college? After a pause, she continued, everyone has heard that Yi Chen's family went bankrupt. Could it be that you are supporting Yi Chen and his children with your family's money? Everyone understood the meaning of the words as soon as they heard them. Is Yi Chen living off his wife's family? Lu Yina naturally could not stand others disparaging her husband, so she also loudly replied, not at all. On the contrary, it is Yi Chen who is helping my father. When my husband was studying, he made a lot of money in the stock market, and he also made other investments. Hu Qingrong, however, snorted, investments? What investments? Those stocks and shares you're talking about, that's all just fantasy, isn't it? We don't believe in things we can't see or touch. In my opinion, your husband is just a mooching bum. Bai Yuhao chimed in, yes, after hearing what you said, it's all become clear. Yi Hui naturally couldn't stand listening to this anymore, saying that the men in the Yi family were mooching bums? That's absolutely impossible. If he said that the men in the Yi family are henpecked, he could believe it. But to say that they are henpecked, he would never believe it. Yi Hui immediately retorted, you two are really outrageous, you don't know the facts and you just say that someone is henpecked in soft soap without any evidence. After saying that, his voice got a little louder, I'm telling you, the men in our Yi family are definitely not going to be soft soap. My brother Yi Chen has a 20% stake in Liuyi Baby. You've heard of it, right? The annual dividend is already 100 million to 200 million yuan. Hearing this, the people around him immediately took out their phones and looked up the market value of Liuyi Baby. My goodness! I didn't know until I looked it up, and I was shocked. It's a market value of 30 billion yuan. This mother and baby brand store is also a recent upstart, so no one is familiar with it. Judging from Yi Hui's words, 20% of the shares means a net worth of 6 billion yuan? My goodness! While everyone else is busy working after graduation, Yizhen is already a multi-billionaire boss. No wonder our school beauty married Yizhen. Now it all makes sense to everyone. I told you so. How could our school beauty marry a good-for-nothing loser? Yes, it turns out her husband is so rich. That means the billion worth of jewelry her husband bought her is real, right? No way. Her husband gave her $1 billion worth of jewelry? Didn't you see the pink pigeon's egg that Lu Yina is wearing on her finger? That's the only one of its kind in the world. You can't just buy it if you want to. Nonsense, with a ring worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you people can forget about it for the rest of your lives. As soon as Yi Hui finished speaking, the people present were already talking about it. Chapter 170, Suspicion of the Crowd. Zhang Jiaxing, who was sitting behind Gu Yingying and the others, was also taken aback. He thought that with his monthly salary of tens of thousands of yuan, he was considered a high-income earner in front of his classmates. Little did he know that among his peers, some had already become bosses. And they were even bosses with billions of dollars. What did his salary of tens of thousands of yuan look like in other people's eyes? What was Gu Yingying's boyfriend's relationship to Lu Yina's husband? Was he called Yi Chen's older brother? Is he Lu Yina's husband's younger brother? No way. If Yi Chen, Lu Yina's husband, has a net worth of billions, then wouldn't that make Gu Yingying's boyfriend? No way. That's absolutely impossible. Both having just graduated from university, how could Yi Chen have suddenly become a multi-billionaire? And I heard that Yi Chen's family had gone bankrupt before, so how could Yi Chen have a net worth of billions? Therefore, Zhang Jiaxing didn't believe a word Yi Hui said. People who also didn't believe Yi Hui included Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao. Hu Qingrong looked at Yi Hui with disbelief. Who are you? How dare you lie here? Yi Hui was also a little angry. I'm Yi Chen's cousin, how can I not know about my brother's affairs as his younger brother? Zhang Jiaxing was also stunned by what he heard. Cousin? Not a real brother? Bai Yuhao also looked at Yi Hui and Yi Chen contemptuously. I really didn't expect it, Yi Chen, right? Everyone is the same as a recent graduate, and you have already become a multi-billionaire. We are also envious of you and admire you. If you can pay for our party tonight, then we will believe you. Hu Qingrong snorted. Someone who can come and eat a steak for over 2,000 yuan, she would never believe that Yi Chen is someone with a multi-billion-dollar fortune. Yi Chen also looked at Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao with a cold stare. Go ahead, order whatever you want, I'll pay tonight. Lu Yana tugged on Yi Chen, but Yi Chen took Lu Yana's hand and comforted her. Don't worry, your classmates are just your husband's classmates, it doesn't matter. Yi Chen's words immediately shocked everyone present. To be honest, Yi Chen is in the same alumni year as them, and he has not yet graduated. Even if he were to take a year off from school and work for a year, it is impossible for him to suddenly have a net worth of billions. After all, competition in society is fierce, and money is becoming more and more difficult to make. Therefore, they are shocked now. Bai Yuhao also immediately applauded for Yi Chen. Not bad. today I have really been opened my eyes. Even if I came out into society a little earlier than you, after my own efforts I barely inherited a few 100 million yuan of business from my family, and you are about the same age as me, and you already have a family fortune of several billion yuan. I mean, you're not going to pretend to be someone you're not in front of us, are you? Bai Yuhao's meaning was also very clear. What he meant was that Yi Chen was a womanizer, wasn't it? Even if the whole table pays, it's Lu Yina's money. And all the students present questioned whether Yi Chen really had a family fortune of several billion, and whether Yi Chen was actually living off the school flour. However, Bai Yuhao is also a person who likes to show off, and other people could definitely understand from his words just now. Although the students questioned whether Yi Chen had a net worth of billions, they still firmly believed that Bai Yuhao had a net worth of hundreds of millions. This was because their classmate Hu Qingrong's family also had a net worth of billions, and anyone who could be with Hu Qingrong was definitely either rich or noble. Therefore, many of the students also switched to a mode of proactively ingratiating themselves. Holy shit! You're Hu Qingrong's boyfriend, right? I really didn't expect it. You're actually someone with a net worth of hundreds of millions. Yes, Qingrong. I really didn't expect it. Your family is so rich, and you have a boyfriend who is also so rich. Yes, among so many classmates, you are the most promising person. I see, you are Bai Yuhao. You are our senior from the previous year. I remember now. There was just one more sentence, but the classmate didn't say it. Because Bai Yuhao had pursued Lu Yina before, and everyone knew about it, which caused a big sensation at the time. However, everyone is tacitly aware that since Hu Qingrong is now Bai Yuhao's girlfriend, they naturally have to be careful and watch what they say. Naturally, they won't blow the whistle on this. As far as I know, Bai Yuhao's family is quite wealthy. Yes, I heard about it when I was studying, but even if someone has a family fortune of hundreds of millions, they're not like some people who brag about having billions. Indeed, when one thinks about it, it doesn't seem plausible, does it? At this moment, Hu Qingrong is also very impatient. Yes, just now I saw that Lu Yina's husband is still here eating steak. After saying this, she looked at Yi Chen and the others with some disdain in her eyes. How dare they say they are worth billions of dollars, when they can't even spare a few thousand yuan? She and Bai Yuhao were determined to expose Lu Yina in front of so many classmates, to humiliate her and make her lose face. Lu Yina was also a little flustered. Even though she knew that this would happen at this party, and she also knew that Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao would not let her off so easily, she really didn't expect that these two would be so aggressive. She couldn't help but squeeze Yi Chen's big hand, looking at Yi Chen, and at a loss as to how to fight back against the two of them. However, Yi Chen smiled at her, his face showing no sign of panic, and gave a faint smile. At this moment, the waiter who had just gone to place the order with the list returned, also holding a credit card machine in his hand, and walked up to Yi Chen. Mr. Yi, the total of the order you just placed is 13,789 yuan. After the discount, it is 13,500 yuan. Yi Chen took out the black card from the parallel bank he had just received from his pocket and handed it to the waiter, saying calmly, "Swipe the card." At that moment, everyone saw the black card in Yi Chen's hand. They were shocked. My God! This is the black card of the parallel bank. Chapter 171, No Cooperation During Personal Time. Perhaps most people don't know what this black card means, but those who work in the financial or banking industry were shocked and their eyes went wide. Oh my God! In the past few months since I started working, I've only seen that black bank card on the computer. I really didn't expect to see the real black card today. No, what does this black card mean? Some shallow people asked awkwardly. And those people were also educating the public. You're just short on knowledge. The person who owns this black card must have a daily income of 10 million within 3 months and a bank balance of more than 1 billion in cash. It's cash, get it? Not fixed assets. Only someone who meets these two conditions will be issued such a black card by Parallel Bank. Oh my God! A daily income of 10 million within 3 months? I can't even get 10 million in assets in my entire life. A daily income of 10 million? 10 billion? So, on this card, there is probably more than 10 billion in cash? Even Hu Qingrong and Bai Yuhao were shocked. Although Hu Qingrong's family has a net worth of more than 10 billion, it is all based on real estate and market value, and a few hundred million in liquid funds is considered good. As for Bai Yuhao's family, needless to say, they are now looking for external financing, and it would be difficult for them to come up with 100 million. But now, Yi Chen has 1 billion in his credit card alone. Gu Yingying and Yi Hui both heard the people around them talking, and they looked at Yi Chen with surprised eyes. Yi Chen explained, I only got this card today, so I'm not really sure about it. This is a bit of a Versailles in other people's eyes. What do you mean you're not sure? According to you, I don't know anything about having 1 billion? A billion? That's not 100,000, it's $10. The waiter glanced at the black card in Yi Chen's hand, took it in his hand a little nervously, and swiped the card. Thank you, Mr. Yi, for your support of our hotel. Yichen took the card from the waiter's hand and said to the waiter, "I'll pay for tonight's consumption as well. After it's over, just hand me the bill. Also, bring me the best steak here, and open a few bottles of Lafite 82 for everyone here." After saying this, he looked at the many alumni present and said, "Everyone, don't be polite with me. Nana's classmates are also my classmates, so please enjoy yourselves and spend as much as you like." At this, everyone present also shut up and stopped talking. Yichen glanced at everyone in the venue, and almost everyone's face looked shocked. Only a few people's faces were full of disbelief and doubt. Indeed, Yichen was about the same age as them, and it was indeed quite difficult to admit that others were better than themselves. People just can't stand to see others being better than themselves and doing better than themselves. If they were still as good for nothing as before, it is estimated that Lu Yina would have been bullied into the mud by them by now. However, Yichen is not the type of person who likes to show off, and even though this Tingley hotel is his, he did not say so. At that moment, the stairs on the other side of the venue opened, and several men in formal attire rushed out, along with a woman dressed as a secretary in uniform and high heels. The group of people quickly rushed into the party venue. Hu Qingrong naturally recognized the man walking in front of them. This man was the general manager of Tingley Hotel, Zhu Chuanzhou, General Manager Zhu. This general manager Zhu was also one of their Hu family's partners, which is why Hu Qingrong had arranged for this gathering to be held here. Although Hu Qingrong did not know why General Manager Zhu was walking so quickly, she immediately respectfully walked in front of him, intending to welcome General Manager Zhu. She just didn't expect that General Manager Zhu ignored her and walked straight past her to Yichen. As soon as he saw Yichen, the smile on General Manager Zhu's face split to the roots of his ears. "Oh, Mr. Yichen, hello. I am Zhu Chuanzhou, the General Manager of Tingley Hotel. Why didn't you notify us when you arrived, so that we could go and greet you?" Everyone present, including Lu Yina, Gu Yingying, and Yi Hui, was dumbfounded by these words. Yichen said indifferently, "It's nothing. I just like to keep a low profile." General Manager Zhu glanced at the list in Yichen's hand, and this time he was shocked. "Oh, Mr. Yichen, this is not allowed. As the owner of our hotel, you don't need to pay when you spend money in our hotel." He quickly asked the waiter to come over and return the bill that Yichen had just paid. And he silently made up his mind in his heart that he must train these waiters well, otherwise they would even dare to charge their boss, who they didn't even recognize, and they really are tired of living. However, General Manager Zhu's words just now shocked everyone present once again. "Yichen is the owner of this hotel? You have to know that Tingley Hotel is a 5-star hotel. Although it is not as strong as a national chain, it has dozens of branches and has a large market share. The market value is at least tens of billions of dollars or more. My goodness." From what Yi Hui said, Yichen already had 20% of the shares in Liuyi Baby. From what General Manager Zhu said, Yichen is the owner of the hotel. These two combined are estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars. No wonder he even has a black card from a parallel bank. It turns out that Yichen is really rich. Hu Qingrong, who learned all this from General Manager Zhu's mouth, was so embarrassed that her face turned red. She had, without knowing it, offended a very important person. Moreover, Tingley Hotel had a cooperative relationship with her family's cleaning company, and Tingley Hotel was her family's cleaning company's biggest partner. But now, Hu Qingrong had offended the boss, so wouldn't her family's business be ruined as a result? Moreover, the Hu family's cleaning company's cooperation with Tingley Hotel is about to expire, and her father is currently negotiating a partnership with General Manager Zhu. This is it, it's over. Hu Qingrong licked her lips and walked up to Yichen and General Manager Zhu, saying, "Mr. Yichen, I'm really sorry. If I did anything wrong just now, please forgive me for being so big-hearted. I didn't do it on purpose. If she doesn't apologize right now, her father will find out and kill her." General Manager Zhu looked at Hu Qingrong, then at Yichen, and at the reactions of the people present. He quickly explained to Yichen, "Mr. Yi, this Miss Hu's family is negotiating a partnership with our hotel, and the contract with our hotel is about to expire. I didn't realize you knew each other, so it seems." Yichen said indifferently, "This is private time. I'm attending a class reunion with my wife, so no work matters." The meaning was also very clear, and General Manager Zhu naturally understood what to do. "Yes, Mr. Yichen, I understand." Chapter 172. There are always people better than you, and there are always things beyond your understanding. General Manager Zhu replied very respectfully to Yichen, "Yes, Mr. Yichen, we understand. We will not disturb Mr. Ye's gathering, and we will leave first. If you have any questions, you can directly call me. I wish Mr. and Mrs. Yi a pleasant meal." Saying this, General Manager Zhu didn't even give Hu Qingrong a proper look. He led his secretary and entourage to say hello to Yichen, and then turned and left. Hu Qingrong chased after him for a few steps, "Uncle Zhu." However, Zhu Chuanzhou only left her with his back. After the group got into the elevator, Zhu Chuanzhou coldly told the female secretary behind him, cancel all cooperation with the Hu family, and there will be no more cooperative relationship with the Hu family in the future. After receiving the order, the female secretary immediately replied, "Yes, President Zhu." This scene just now made everyone present afraid to speak. Yi Chen is actually a tycoon with a net worth of nearly 10 billion. Even if it's 100 million, it's still a height that these wage earners like them can't reach. Lu Yana, however, pulled Yi Chen back and interrogated him. "Honey, what's going on? When did you become the owner of Tingli Hotel? When I got married at the hotel before, the lobby manager of that hotel was so nice to me. Is that also because of you?" Yi Chen smiled and said, "Sorry, I didn't tell you about this. This Tingli Hotel is indeed my property." Yi Chen thought that Lu Yana would pursue the matter, but he didn't expect Lu Yana to not ask in detail, but just looked at Yi Chen with admiration. "Hubby, how are you so amazing?" Gu Yingying looked at the two people in front of her, who were smothering each other, and shook her head. "I really can't stand you guys, force-feeding the dog food." It was just that Yi Chen and Lu Yana ignored everyone else and were still in love. The others also kept calling the waiters to add food to their plates. They definitely wanted to make the most of this buffet. After all, not every day did they get such a good opportunity to spend freely in a 5-star hotel. After about 5 minutes, General Manager Zhu had the hotel's best chefs come up to serve Yi Chen and the others, bringing up the best ingredients in the hotel. The classmates also went up to Lu Yana and Yi Chen, Gu Yingying, and Yi Hui, and fawned over them. These people come from a family with a net worth of tens of billions of dollars, and they don't get to meet them all the time. Now that they have, naturally they want to make a good impression in front of Yi Chen and the others. They are the kind of people who will go with the flow, fawning over you when there's something in it for them, but when you're down and out, there's no one to comfort you. 10 minutes later, Hu Qingrong, who was sitting on the edge of her chair, received a call from her father. In the phone, her father's voice trembled with anger. "Hu Qingrong, what a good job you've done. Every day you stir up trouble for me for no reason." After gasping for breath, she continued, "I'll tell you what, just now General Manager Zhu's secretary called me, and they want to terminate the contract with our cleaning company early. You spoilt brat really make me mad to death. Do you know that half of our cleaning company's income depends on Tingli Hotel? Do you know what this contract means to our family? You threw a damn party and offended the owner of the hotel to death. I've told you, there are plenty of people in Xiangqing who are more capable than your father. Never look down on anyone. In other people's eyes, you're nothing but a troublemaker. This really makes me angry. It's been difficult to do business over the years, and the competition is much greater than before. Now that we've lost the contract with Tingli Hotel, our company is going to have to scrimp and save. Don't look at Dad, he has other companies, but in fact, the most profitable one for our family is this cleaning company. It's over." After cursing, Hu Qingrong's father hung up the phone angrily. Hu Qingrong also didn't expect things to develop to such a state. If she had known that Yi Chen was the owner of the hotel, she definitely wouldn't have dared to offend him. And Bai Yuhao, who was sitting there listening to Hu Qingrong's conversation with her father, also fell into deep thought. It's true that there are people outside people, and there are heavens beyond heavens. Now, I don't know how to end it. Even if he doesn't have any cooperation with Yi Chen's company, he feels that there is no point in staying here. At this moment, a few men in formal attire walked into the party venue. The man walking in front of them, Bai Yuhao, knows. It is the general manager of Xiangqing district of Xindan department store. Li Yangmao. Why is he here? Is it because he saw me? Before Bai Yuhao could think about it, he ignored Hu Qingrong and walked forward, greeting Li Yangmao with a respectful smile. "Hello, Manager Li. What a coincidence, are you here for dinner too?" However, Li Yangmao was dumbfounded, looking at the man in front of him who was smiling a little foolishly. After looking at him for about 2 or 3 minutes, Li Yangmao smiled awkwardly and asked, "May I ask, who are you?" Bai Yuhao's heart sank to the bottom. But his face still maintained that iconic smile. "Manager Li, you really are a busy man. I asked your assistant to make a reservation a couple of days ago to see when you were free to have dinner together, but no one could get a time. I'm Bai Yuhao, you probably don't remember." Li Yangmao was flustered by him, and when he looked into the distance and saw Yi Chen sitting down to eat, some impatience appeared in his eyes. After thinking about it, he said, "There have been so many people asking me to dinner recently that I don't seem to have heard of any friends with the surname Bai. It seems like..." After a pause, Li Yangmao seemed to remember something. "It seems that there was a young man surnamed Bai, and it was you, right? After getting my phone number, he kept calling to ask me out to dinner, saying something about giving your food company a chance, when we were suppliers in the mall or something?" In fact, Li Yangmao was quite annoyed with Bai Yuhao, so after answering one of Bai Yuhao's phone calls, Li Yangmao was about to throw him into the punishment room. And the conversation between the two was also heard clearly by the people around them. And the person in front of him, Manager Li, turned out to be the person Bai Yuhao was asking for something. Bai Yuhao, who has a net worth of hundreds of millions, actually asked him for something, so his social status is naturally higher than Bai Yuhao's. However, it seems that this man respectfully called Manager Li is not that familiar with Bai Yuhao. Moreover, it seems that he has not even remembered him at all. Chapter 173 People who are not on the same level. However, no matter if others cannot remember him, it cannot stop the fact that Li Yangmao is of a higher status than him. Bai Yuhao was still introducing himself, seemingly not noticing the impatience on Li Yangmao's face. Bai Yuhao, General Manager Li, our company is. But Li Yangmao said to Bai Yuhao, sorry, I'm busy right now, let's talk when I'm free. After hearing this, Bai Yuhao froze in his tracks. Now, Bai Yuhao was still a little embarrassed. In front of so many people, General Manager Li had directly interrupted him, which was too disrespectful. But even if you don't give you face, others just have the strength to make you unable to refute and speechless. In this world, it is just that people who are more capable and powerful than you have the right to speak. After Li Yangmao finished speaking, he directly passed him by and went straight to Yi Chen's side. Yi Chen looked at Li Yangmao in front of him with a confused expression, and for a moment, he couldn't remember who Li Yangmao was either. Li Yangmao didn't pay much attention to Yi Chen's expression. In front of the president of his own company, how dare he say something inexplicable? Looking at Yi Chen's confused expression, Li Yangmao naturally knew that Yi Chen couldn't remember him. Li Yangmao quickly bowed towards Yi Chen and said, Chairman Yi Chen, hello. I am Li Yangmao, the general manager of Xiangqing district in our Xindan department store. Li Yangmao's tone was very deferential. It's really great to meet Chairman Yi here. Yi Chen thought for a moment. The Xindian shopping mall, it seems to be his own mall. This general manager looks familiar. It seems that they have met before. Should it be him? However, when everyone heard Yi Chen from Li Yangmao's mouth, everyone's eyes changed. No way. Yi Chen is the chairman of the Xindian shopping mall? This caused a lot of discussion. Yi Chen, however, did not take these things seriously. He gently took the hand of his wife, Lu Yana, and said lightly, hello, President Li, why are you here? We are the only ones having a party on this floor, so it can't be a coincidence, right? Li Yangmao replied truthfully, I just met the manager here and his secretary at the stairwell. I am friends with the hotel manager, so I know that you, Chairman Yi, are having a party here. Moreover, he also knows that Bai Yuhao and Hu Qingrong have offended Yi Chen. Bai Yuhao has offended their chairman, and it is impossible for him to want to cooperate with them in his life. Yi Chen gave a nod, which was a way of agreeing with Li Yangmao. Li Yangmao continued respectfully, tomorrow, our new single department store will hold a board meeting in Xiangqing, and the board of directors hopes that you can attend. Li Yangmao's voice was neither too loud nor too quiet, but the people present did not dare to breathe, and naturally they heard Li Yangmao's words. Yi Chen glanced at Bai Yuhao and Hu Qingrong behind Li Yangmao, then looked at Li Yangmao again. Do you know this person? Li Yangmao said on the spot, Mr. Yi Chen, this Mr. Bai wanted to discuss cooperation with our shopping mall, but it hasn't been finalized yet. He also asked me to have dinner together, but I didn't because my work schedule didn't allow it. Everyone present could hear clearly. Bai Yuhao asked Li Yangmao for help, and Li Yangmao's boss is Yi Chen, which means that Bai Yuhao was asking Yi Chen for help. After all, Yi Chen is the chairman of the board in Li Yangmao's mouth, and he has the power to decide everything in the company. So it also explains clearly that Yi Chen's status is far higher than Bai Yuhao and Hu Qingrong, and it is even higher than their father's status. Yi Chen is not on the same level as their family at all. Li Yangmao had been in the business world for more than 20 years, and from the mouth of his own best friend, he had heard some bad things about the chairman of their own company. He immediately continued, Chairman Yi, in fact, I have always felt that the Bai family's company has no strength, so I don't think there is any need to cooperate with him. Yi Chen glanced at Bai Yuhao and Hu Qingrong, who were both shocked, and said, You decide what to do. You're the general manager, so I'll leave this minor matter to you. Yes, Chairman Yi Chen, I know what to do. Yi Chen just smiled and didn't say anything else. At this point, the entire party venue became a bit strange. Lu Yana, Gu Yingying, and everyone else who came to the party. Yi Chen looked at the confused Lu Yana, took her hand firmly and whispered, I'll explain everything to you when we get home. Yi Chen felt very self-reproachful at this moment. As his wife, Lu Yana didn't even know about the business he owned. Yi Chen decided right then and there that he would confess to his wife when they got home. Lu Yana whispered, Well, honey, I think you're amazing. No kidding. Her husband had already earned more money than many people could in a lifetime before even graduating from university. Lu Yana was happy for Yi Chen and secretly delighted at the same time. Yi Chen sat up straight the moment he heard Lu Yana praise him. Li Yangmao was also a man who knew when to hold his tongue. Seeing that Yi Chen was at a party, he naturally didn't want to disturb him too much, so, Chairman Yi, will you be attending the board meeting tomorrow? Yi Chen said, I'm not free, you guys can go ahead and start without me, I have to stay home and take care of the kids. Li Yangmao quickly said, Okay, Mr. Yi Chen, if you have no other instructions, then we'll be going first. Then, the few people behind him immediately turned to say goodbye to Yi Chen, Chairman Yi, sorry for the disturbance. Li Yanmao led the others and left the meeting directly. The people present were. My goodness. Is this the big boss? He doesn't even go to his own company's board meetings? Gu Yingying also pulled Yi Hui aside and asked quietly, is your eldest brother really that awesome? He's the chairman of the board of directors of the Xindan supermarket. Yi Hui was a little stunned. I didn't know that. I only knew that my brother had shares in a maternity store worth billions of dollars. I've never heard that he's also the chairman of the board of directors of the Xindan supermarket. Gu Yingying gave him a glare. Don't forget, Yi Chen is also the owner of this hotel. Hurry up and eat. Gu Yingying was happy for her sister, who had found such a good husband. He was rich and devoted, the kind of husband that every girl dreams of. Yi Hui rolled his eyes at Gu Yingying, who was busy cooking. All she ever does is eat. Chapter 174, Bouquet and Nan. Everyone present started talking excitedly. Damn, is Liu Yina's husband really that awesome? Yes. It's fine that he owns billions of shares in Liu Baby, but I'm afraid I can't even earn his annual dividends. Did you forget about his black card? That's $1 billion that we can't earn in a lifetime without eating or drinking. And he's the owner of this 5-star hotel. Even the Xindan department store is his. It's not strange for these rich people to occasionally invest a few $100 million in a project, is it? Alas. Different people, different fates. Before he even graduated from university, he already had money that we could never earn in a lifetime. He also has a successful career and a happy family. He has a wife and children, and Liu Yana gave birth to triplets, 2 boys and a girl. Immediately after giving birth, she became a mother of precious sons. How many people want this? Let's stop talking and have a couple of glasses of 1982 Lafite. After all, these opportunities don't come often. Go home tonight and have sweet dreams, where you have everything. Just as everyone was talking, Bai Yuhao's phone rang. Bai Yuhao looked at the phone and saw that it was his own father calling. He picked up the phone with trembling hands and pressed the answer button, but he didn't dare put it to his ear because he knew that his father had a loud voice like a lioness from Hedong. Sure enough, the roaring voice of Bai Yuhao's father came from the phone, and everyone sitting near Bai Yuhao could hear it. You little brat, you give me some money and then you go and get into trouble, is that it? Do you know that you have made the chairman of the new single department store angry? You have ruined the project that I was discussing with General Manager Li. You really are going to make your father die of anger. Then came the sound of Bai Yuhao's father coughing heavily. Bai Yuhao hung up the phone in fear. At that moment, Hu Qingrong's phone also rang. Again, the voice of her father yelling came through. Fine, Hu Qingrong, you and Bai Yuhao have really gone too far. It's fine to offend the owner of the Tingli Hotel, but you've even offended the chairman of the Xindan department store to death. You two brats have ruined everything according to the plan of Bai Yuhao's father and me. You have really cut off our family's escape route. Hu Qingrong also weakly said, the hotel owner is the same person as the chairman of the Xindan department store. What did you say? I only heard the sound of something hard falling on the phone. Hu Qingrong shouted into the phone, Dad, are you okay? Hu Qingrong took Bai Yuhao and just left. Without even saying goodbye. The classmates present also saw a good show. From the sound of it, I reckon the two of them really pissed off their real dads. The students were also discussing it. I heard Hu Qingrong say before that their family was going to set up a company with Bai Yuhao's family, and they had invested almost 200 million yuan. Now it seems that this first step of cooperation has already failed, and they are definitely going to suffer when they go back. No way. Over 200 million yuan. Now it seems that it's really all going to go down the drain. Hey, why should we care about other people's business? Just mind your own business and take care of your own salary of 10,000 odd yuan. I haven't been paid yet, and it's the end of the month, I have to pay the rent. In the crowd, Zhang Jiaxing naturally heard everyone's discussion. When he learned that Gu Yingying's boyfriend was not Yi Chen's younger brother, he was secretly pleased, because if Yi Hui was Yi Chen's younger brother, then their family's financial resources would also be formidable. Naturally, he would not be able to win her over. And judging from his age, he was probably younger than them, so he was probably just a younger brother who had not yet graduated from university. How could he possibly compete with a successful man like himself? Zhang Jiaxing was truly a real-life version of Bouquet and Nan. Did he really think that he could turn the world upside down with a salary of a few tens of thousands of yuan? Yi Hui tugged on Gu Yingying. Stop eating. Look at all this fat on you, who would dare to want you? Gu Yingying glared at him angrily. Have I eaten your rice? I'll eat it if I want to, so what? Yi Hui also had no choice with her. From the beginning to the end, he had only eaten a plate of fried rice and was full. He wasn't a big eater, but in front of him was a plate full of food for Gu Yingying, and others would think that he wanted to eat it. If he had known, he would not have come. Apart from his own big brother, he didn't know anyone here. Yihui awkwardly took out his phone and opened the game page. When you're bored, the only thing to do is to play games to break the awkwardness. Lu Yana was feeding Yi Chen a steak, and they were so affectionate, it really made others jealous. Yi Chen was so rich, and naturally Lu Yana had also become the object of envy of everyone at the table. Many classmates gathered up to say hello to Yi Chen, as if they wanted to make an impression in front of the big boss, in case they could meet him again in the future. Behind them, a group of female classmates were also discussing. If only I could meet a boyfriend like that. That's her husband, and he earns half of what Lu Yana does. I heard before that Lu Yana's husband bought her 1 billion yuan worth of jewelry and gave her a villa worth hundreds of millions of yuan, but I thought it was just a tall tale. I never thought it was true. Of course it's true. Do you think it's just a coincidence? Hey, it turns out that the domineering CEO who loves his wife in real life really exists. I want to fall in love. That's natural, inspiration for novels comes from life. I saw it. Is the pink diamond worth 1 billion that Lu Yana is wearing on her finger? Looks like it. People like us who have no knowledge are the ones making a fuss here, and I've never seen a diamond ring this big before. Ha, you don't think it's a 9.9 yuan toy, do you? It's so big, it really looks fake. Eat your food. Should we say hello to Lu Yana later? She's the young wife of a billionaire, she doesn't have time to greet you here. No way, Lu Yana has a very nice personality, she definitely wouldn't be like that. It's just that Yi Chen and Lu Yana also smiled at the classmates who came to say hello, and naturally they would not take the initiative. Gu Yingying, however, was playing games with Yi Hui. Chapter 175, The Schoolflower is just a title. Gu Yingying, who was playing a game, suddenly received a WeChat message from Zhang Jiaxing. Yingying, what are you doing? Gu Yingying replied, playing a game. Zhang Jiaxing looked at the two of them, Gu Yingying and Yi Hui, who were playing a game together, and his face was about to twist with anger. At this time, Zhang Jiaxing's girlfriend, who was sitting next to him, suddenly asked, "What's wrong with you? Why are you always looking over there? What's the relationship between that woman and you?" Zhang Jiaxing came back to his senses and immediately explained, "Just a friend. We used to hang out a lot, but now she has a boyfriend, so don't think too much about it." After hearing Zhang Jiaxing's words, his girlfriend followed his gaze and saw that Gu Yingying and Yi Hui were having a great time playing. Gu Yingying even patted Yi Hui on the back, "Give me the blue, you go get the blue on the other side." Yi Hui laughed, "With your track record, you still have the nerve to take my blue." Zhang Jiaxing's girlfriend withdrew her gaze, glanced at Zhang Jiaxing, and didn't say anything else. In fact, she was thinking, nowadays, men and women, even if they are married, cannot be trusted easily. Yi Hui then whispered in Gu Yingying's ear, "What do you think? My fake boyfriend is awesome, right? I helped you get rid of all these bad guys." Gu Yingying glanced in Zhang Jiaxing's direction, but her eyes said something disdainful. "A man like him, who is eating from the bowl and staring at what's outside, do you think I'll fall for it?" Yi Hui, however, said, "I helped you this time anyway." Gu Yingying naturally would not fall for it so easily. She wouldn't have in the past, and she definitely wouldn't now. Even if she were to be with that brat Yi Hui, she would never be with Zhang Jiaxing. After thinking about it, Gu Yingying glanced at Yi Hui, who looked smug, and cursed in her heart, "Brat." Although Gu Yingying herself didn't know why she was cursing Yi Hui like that, she just wanted to. The whole party probably cost almost 2 million, and there were 5 or 6 bottles of Lafite alone, as well as other famous wines and whiskeys and so on. Yi Chen and Yi Hui didn't drink either, because they had to drive. Don't drink and drive, and don't drive if you drink. This also became the consensus of the dinner party, and some people who had drunk were also waiting for a designated driver. Yi Chen and Yi Hui's cars were parked in front of the hotel. When Zhang Jiaxing got out, he happened to see Yi Hui driving a car worth over 100,000 yuan and carrying Gu Yingying away. His eyes were full of disdain. Doesn't your family even have a nice car? Then it seems like your family doesn't have much money either, right? You can afford a car worth over 100,000 yuan? But it's Yi Hui's father's fault too, because he felt that Yi Hui was just a student and didn't need a nice car, so after Yi Hui got his driver's license, he only bought a car for getting around. Yi Hui's father felt that a student did not need to engage in these kinds of comparisons, and Yi Hui himself did not really care, as long as he had a car to drive. Therefore, Yi Hui was despised by Zhang Jiaxing. Yi Chen drove the Coeur de Lion, carrying Lu Yana, as well as a few female classmates who were a little closer to Lu Yana. While in the car, Lu Yana's female classmates kept praising Yi Chen and Lu Yana. "Nana, we really envy you. You have such a great husband." "Yes. We probably wouldn't dare dream of such a thing. You're so lucky, Nana, you're beautiful, your husband is rich, and he loves you so much. Nana, you didn't even invite us to your wedding." Lu Yana felt a little embarrassed and explained to them, "Because the wedding was so rushed, I didn't have time to invite everyone. If you have time, you can invite me, and I'll treat you to a big meal." "I'm really sorry." The female classmates also said, "It's okay. We also feel a bit sorry that we didn't attend your wedding. You were the school beauty queen, and we were also very honored to be in the same department as you. Yes, yes. But we've remembered about the big meal. We'll be picking the most expensive food. Lu Yana smiled, sure. I'll see what time you are free. I'm at home with the kids now, so you can call me when you're ready. Nana, did you know that Cece is going back to China in a few days? Suddenly one of the female classmates said. Cece Mai was also a student in their department, but she had previously had a fight with Lu Yana over a man, and she had publicly called Lu Yana a bitch. She just couldn't bear the pressure and went abroad to study. Her family had a bit of money, so she was also a very spoiled and headstrong woman. Lu Yana was also a little embarrassed. I haven't been in touch with her for a long time, and I don't know how she's been recently. But she's missed today's gathering. I also heard from someone else that she's come back to study at our school, and you're also going back to school this semester, and I guess you'll be in the same department as her. I don't know about her. After glancing at Yi Chen, who was driving, the girl paused for a moment. Lu Yana looked at Yi Chen and said to the female classmate, "It's okay, you can speak." The female classmate then continued, "Originally, because of her ex-boyfriend, she had an argument with you before, and after that, she went abroad to study. She was supposed to wait until after you graduated and then come back, but she probably still doesn't know that you took a year off, so she's coming back to school this semester, and when she sees you, she's going to freak out." The female classmate spoke with a hint of a sneer in her tone. Yes, she told us before that she was the campus queen of Fragrance City University, saying that the boys at Fragrance City were blind. Now if she finds out that you are still continuing your university studies at Fragrance City, then she will lose her title of campus queen to you again. The other female classmate laughed and covered her mouth when she heard this. Lu Yana smiled helplessly. School or not, this is just an empty title. There are a lot of good-looking people. Maybe the new schoolgirls will be voted schoolflower. In fact, I've always just thought she was pretty, not exactly beautiful. The female classmates also shook their heads. You're a woman that even we girls would be jealous of. How could you not be considered beautiful? You're being too modest. Yi Chen also learned some inside information from these gossipy female classmates. It seems that the woman named Maxi is considered to be quite good-looking, so she is jealous of Lu Yana. However, Lu Yana is recognized as the school beauty by all the boys, and there is no doubt about it. Yi Chen drove the car and said leisurely, "Wife, you are the most beautiful in my eyes." This time, all the female classmates booed. Wow. Look at your husband, he loves you to the bone. Throughout the whole ride, Yi Chen also heard a lot about how Lu Yana was being chased after. After driving all the female classmates home, Yi Chen sat in the car and sighed, "Finally, I'm done." Lu Yana laughed, "Why, are you tired?" Yi Chen, "I'm not tired, I just want to hit someone." Lu Yana took Yi Chen's hand. "What's wrong?" She naturally knew why her husband wanted to hit someone, so she comforted him. Actually, this was a freshman thing. Later, didn't someone else give me the title of the aloof school beauty? Since then, not many men have chased after me, but I don't care about that. What I like is you. In fact, there was a question in Yi Chen's heart for a long time, but he never asked it.